following is a presentation of MSUM Dragon Athletics and is made possible by our corporate partners. The Courtyard by Marriott, The Forum of Fargo Moorhead, Valley Imports, Matt Buss, WDAY's Extra, Richards Transportation, the MSUM Bookstore, Sanford Health, Gate City Bank, Midco, Valley Pre-Owned, Moorhead Public Service, State Farm Agent David Eggers, Travel Lodge and Suites, Promotional Solutions, Pepsi, Pizza Patrol, Subway, Shucks Bus Service, Shields, Usher's House, Spicy Pie, Microtel, Papa John's, Bite Speed, Herberts and Gerberts, Buffalo Wild Wings, Rustica, Travel Incorporated, and Minnesota State University Moorhead.
Minnesota State University Moorhead, WDAY's Extra, and Dragon Athletics are proud to present Minnesota State University Moorhead Dragons football. Today we've got a good one on the docket to close up shop in 2016 as the Dragons take on their rivals from Aberdeen, South Dakota, the Northern State Wolves. As we pan over Moorhead, Minnesota, you can see it is just a gorgeous afternoon here as we get you set for today's final football game of the season, a pretty significant football game as well, as the Dragons look for win number 7. And good Saturday afternoon to you. My name is Steve DeStacio, and it's truly my privilege to be with you as we have a good ball game, we think, between the 6-4 Dragons and the 6-4 Northern State Wolves. Let's bring in my longtime partner, Larry Scott. To me, this is the way you end a season, a game with a lot of significance, 7 wins, pretty good stuff for these two football teams.
Yeah, kind of a neat setting, isn't it? A great way to hit the finish line today. And as you mentioned, the Dragons 6-4, so are the Wolves, right? And the Dragons, of course, eyeing that second place spot. That would be wonderful to finish second in the league. And the Wolves bring in that same mindset. In fact, one thing we need to be aware of the Wolves, they've lost twice in overtime. This is a quality football team, and they'll certainly provide a real challenge for the Dragons today. But I know there's a great deal of optimism, and nothing would put a bow on the season as nicely as a win today over the Wolves.
Yeah, I was also assisted last week with what a fabulous victory that we got to witness at Bemidji last week.
Yeah, that was pretty special, a big victory, and of course, a devastating loss for the Beavers, and certainly that game meant everything to them and the Dragons. Interesting game. The Dragons fell behind, as they have a few times, and always kind of found a way to get back in. Ironically, it's the missed extra point that ultimately proved the difference. The coach was saying the Dragons missed one in pregame kicking, and some of the Beavers were there to watch it and kind of belittled the Dragons a little bit about the missed kick, and that's ultimately the roles were reversed. It was Bemidji that missed the kick, but nonetheless a great win for the Dragons on the road.
Yeah, before there was a missed extra point, there was a lot of football being played, and it all started with the Dragons offensively with Demetrius Carr, and he has been simply spectacular here the last couple of games in these Dragon victories. He hasn't done it single-handedly, Scotty, but he's been really, really good.
Yeah, and if you remember, of course, the Dragons early in the year were operating with Jake Hodge, the incumbent at quarterback. Hodge, an all-conference player. Dragons offensive ringleader, of course, been bothered by injuries and ultimately was knocked out for the remainder of the season with a knee injury. But Carr was no surprise starter. He had started for the Dragons in the past, so there was no real panic when it turned over to Carr. But I will tell you, last week, the Dragons and others, including ourselves, had heard so much about the wonderful quarterback at Bemidji, Jordan Hine. Well, when it was all done last week, no doubt who was the best quarterback on the field last week. It was Demetrius Carr.
Yeah, you guys are going to make fun of me because I'm going to do some quick math. I'm counting 13 touchdowns that Demetrius Carr has accounted for the last 3 weeks. I mean, it hasn't just been him. It's been this entire team, and it's been these seniors. And now you can see what everybody is playing for today. And it's just, these aren't where this program wants to be. I mean, ultimately, it's wearing a national championship ring. That's the goal of every team. But these are some pretty significant numbers right here on the screen.
Yeah, and you mentioned Carr. I think the best thing about Carr is he's back next year.
Yes.
He's been here a long time, but he does, in fact, have another year to be with the Dragons. And hopefully the Dragons behind Carr can collect some of those goals that they have in mind there right now. Some of them may look modest, but obviously this really endorses the program that's in place right now. This team's come a long way. We were there a couple of years ago. There were some 48-7 games that got away from the Dragons. Things have changed dramatically, and certainly a much healthier outlook, and certainly to finish with 7 wins would be a wonderful way to exit this year.
Yeah, when you look at this graphic, I see 80s, 90s, 2000s. We're talking about a couple decades worth of milestones here at stake today.
Yeah, and you have the feeling there isn't a team in the league now the Dragons can't play with. Can they beat a Mankato or Duluth? Not far away, and certainly there's every reason to hope in the future that can go toe-to-toe with those real heavyweights. But again, we've witnessed a significant improvement, a much healthier outlook in this program the last couple of years, no doubt about that.
And if you want to talk about, this is some of the stuff that's at stake today. This is the other one. A Dragon victory today. It's not first place, and we had this discussion 6 weeks ago today in Duluth if the Dragons were in the championship conversation. You said maybe not this year. A win today, second place behind Minnesota Duluth.
Yeah, and it's important for a lot of things. Certainly, it's a nice going away gift for the seniors, right? But it really sets the tone going into the offseason for the conditioning, the recruiting, all the other things that come very quickly too. So it's a wonderful way to get started on those projects and processes. So it's very, very meaningful. We're not playing for a conference title. They know that. But don't tell the two teams today, because both and the Wolves and the Dragons, this is a significant day.
It is a significant day, and to beat the Northern State Wolves, Steve Lockway will answer that question and a couple more after this. You're watching live coverage of MSU Moorhead Dragons football on WDAY's Extra.
Exceeding expectations. Getting better every day. It doesn't happen by chance. Preparation pays off. So the only question to ask yourself is, am I better today than I was yesterday? Exceed yesterday. Choose Sanford Orthopedics and Sports Medicine.
You always do this. You had a couple of pops in you and got cocky. Who's up for a game of wing roulette, you said? Because you thought it'd be funny to watch one of your friends get stuck with the hot one. But your friends, they got teriyaki, then spicy garlic, and then Asian zing. And now you're looking at the last one and you're thinking, my God, what have I done?
It's a new stay at the Courtyard by Marriott, located just minutes from downtown Fargo, local colleges, shopping centers, and several restaurants. The Courtyard features a 24-hour fitness center, 24-hour on-site Starbucks, and our bistro restaurant and lounge open for breakfast and dinner daily. Relax in one of our 2 indoor swimming pools and hot tub. The comfort your family needs close to all the action at the Courtyard by Marriott. Visit our website or call 218-284-1000. That's 218-284-1000.
Welcome back to Shields Field. Steve DeStacia along with the coach, Steve Lockway. Coach, just a tremendous victory last weekend against Bemidji State. How important was that victory for your program?
Well, a huge win for the program. They're in position to be in the playoffs if they would have won, and so to play a team that had those things on their shoulders, playing with that type of intensity, we were able to get a win on the road, overcome adversity from the beginning of the game, fumbling on our own one all the way till the end was huge. I think a big growing point of maturity within our program. We recognized in the second half when we tied it at 28 that was the tipping point. We recognized it, we seized it, and we held on. And so I think this team's been a young team. It took us a while to mature and grow into it, and we're in a position that's pretty special right now. This is a key game, I think, that can really tip things for us as far as our program goes and really send it on a course that we haven't seen in a long, long time around Dragon football.
The reigning NSIC Player of the Week defensively is Grant Ryer, and I know he was talking to Andy Scott after the game. Is it his knee? How is he doing?
Yeah, Grant won't be able to play today. It's unfortunate he plays best game they did last week. I mean, Player of the Week as a redshirt freshman really stepped up and played this season real well. But the good news is he'll be back. He'll be good to go for next fall, and so he'll be a key piece to the defense that has continued to keep getting better every week. And this has become a pretty solid unit that's putting us in position to win at a high level in this conference consistently.
He's a redshirt freshman. You have a boatload of seniors on the squad that are playing their last game in your program. You've had them the entire time. Mention a couple of them if you can, obviously what they've meant for this program.
Well, a special group, and it's always tough to single out a few out of the 11, but this group came when we weren't a very good football program.
Mm-hmm.
They came with a hope and a dream to move this program into legitimate contention for a conference title, and they've got a chance, I really believe today, leaving at us this program at 7-4, that we're in position to be in the conversation to be at the top of this conference. So I think hats off to what they've done. I mean, you look at Aaron Bull, a 3-year captain. I don't know if that's ever been done in the history of the program. Corey Ambrose will walk out of here today as the 3rd all-time leading receiver in school history at 5'6". Ryan Darlene, the quiet career that he has put together. I mean, and then there's some blessings of one-year guys of Jeremiah Ari that's just been a fabulous addition to our team, not just on the field, but the maturity and the toughness and the preparation of the locker room. And so I think there's just a lot of guys that we're certainly proud of. Jack Bixler, playing for 4 years at center, 1 touchdown under his belt. I mean, just a lot of guys that we're super proud of and want to send out on the right note.
All right, you want to send them out on the right note. You got a good stiff test here today against Northern State. How do you get it done?
Well, this team's beat us 4 out of the last 5 years, and so, obviously we've got to be on point. This is a good football team. They got the same record as us. They've got, I think, 19 seniors, 11 or 12 that are starters. They're hungry. They want to go out the right way. So this is going to be a battle. This is going to be a throwdown. We got to start well. I think that's key. They want to run the football. They're really good at running the football with their quarterback, creating mismatches in space and one-on-one tackles. If we can get a lead early, force them out of the run game into their pass game, the advantage definitely flips to our side. And so I think start is critical. Just like I told our team this morning, let's start great, but most importantly, we got to finish great, and that's the whole key to this thing.
Finally, we've done this every time. Is your team better today than they were 10 weeks ago today?
Without a doubt. I mean, you can look and there's parts of me that wish we could have flipped the order of the schedule that we had and allowed some of our young guys to mature and get to the point they're now, but that is what it is. This is a solid football team. I really do believe this is potentially, if we can capitalize on the moment, this is a tipping point for our program, and we've got 60 minutes to capitalize it, seize it, and it'll lead us into recruiting. It'll lead us into the next season, and like I said, put this program on a path that hasn't been seen in a long time around here.
It's been my privilege to be a part of the ride. Thank you very much and good luck today.
Thank you.
All right, we're back with more after this. You're watching live coverage of MSU Moorhead Dragons football presented by Dragons Live on WDAY's Extra.
Dragon Swim School is proud to offer year-round swimming and diving lessons with the lowest student-to-instructor ratio around. Lessons are available for all levels, including parent-child sessions and preschool. Help your child learn to love the water in a safe and caring environment with us at Dragon Swim School. Visit msumdragons.com/swim for more information. That's msumdragons.com/swim.
Mr. Goldman loved his family a lot, didn't he, Dad?
He sure did.
That's why he had State Farm life insurance, like you. So his family never has to worry, right?
Mr. Goldman didn't have life insurance.
Why not?
He was just a goldfish.
Ignore him.
Call State Farm agent David Eggers in Moorhead today so your family won't have to worry about whether you have life insurance.
We put the life back in life insurance.
Prosperity is today's investment in tomorrow's promise. The promise of a better way of life. With every act of kindness, every act of creation, and with every act of love, we strengthen our community. And when we stand together as a community, we accomplish the impossible. We can choose to pass through life, or we can choose to pass on a better way of life.
Steve DeStatio, Larry Scott, beautiful setting here, and for the Dragons to get that 7th win, which would be their first since 1999, there are your keys to the game, and it's just basically play Dragon football this season.
Yeah, and certainly one thing that might be impactful today, Steve, is the wind, and we talked about it is a sunny and gorgeous day, nearly tropical. We've talked how blessed the Dragons have been to play under such great conditions all year. Today, another setting, although there is a pretty strong wind coming from the south, and that can have an impact here especially with special teams. We'll find out in a minute at the coin toss net. But as you mentioned, play smart. One of the things in talking to the Dragon defense, it's critical that they play sound football defensively, know their gaps, stay in position. Northern State's the kind of club that likes to run the ball a lot. If you make some mistakes defensively, you can pay with a big play. So defensively, it's a matter of knowing your assignments, stay at home, do your job, trust your pals up front.
We had to pick an MSU Moorhead player to watch, and you know what? Since the defense, I know they gave up 500 yards and 41 points. Of course, we were going to pick a senior, but he's just one of the seniors that everybody in red is playing for today.
Yeah, the Dragons actually will lose 12 seniors listed on the roster, and that'll shake out a little bit later too. But the defensive line loses up to 4 players, including Darlene, as you mentioned there, and Drevlo and others. So, they're impacted a little bit more on the defensive side of the ball. And then, of course, the linebacker, Aaron Bowl, has been a 4-year starter for the Dragons. He will be heading down the road as well. So there will be some replacing to do and some new faces that will step into new roles next year. But that's a part of college football. And now the Dragons have a lot of depth, have a lot of young people redshirted, have a very good recruiting class on the horizon. And so they can address these issues. That's part of it. You really want to have a program with a lot of seniors. A few years ago, we like to talk about the Dragons had only 1 senior, 2 seniors. Well, the reality is that's not really a healthy way. You're a better football team if you have a lot of senior leadership. Yes, they will be missed, but there'll be others coming down the road.
You want to talk about Ryan Darlene. He's going to do his damage on the field, not on the bicycle. 35 tackles, well behind Abe Rourke, who leads the team. 10 tackles for loss, and a team leading 5.5 sacks. Now, I know you going back to your SID days, everything's all offense these days. But this Dragon defense, one of the reasons why we're here today.
Yeah, I don't think you can build a championship kind of ball club without a good defense. There's no doubt about that. The Dragon defense is improved. The numbers don't always show that, but this is a much better unit than the Dragons operated with a few years ago. One of the reasons is because of people like Darlene and some of his senior up front defensive linemen. Now, again, the Dragons will use a lot of players today, and particularly on the defensive front, they'll have as many as 12 different players playing today. But again, look for those seniors for leadership and production.
Scotty mentioned the wind coming from the south. It's listed at 15. It's going to gust as high as 30 today. The Dragons are in their reds. Northern State in their golds and maroons. And Northern State will receive the kickoff. Stephen Erlinson and Zachary Barber are deep. And it's Erlinson playing around with the ball at the 4-yard line. He's in a lot of trouble now, turn to left-hand turn. And now he's going to go down. And Northern State will start just shy of their 20-yard line. Your Northern State starters, there they are, their offensive line, anchored by center Austin Nath at 300 pounds out of Marshall, Minnesota. They're their specialty players. They're banged up too. This is game 11, so they don't want to hear about the Dragon injuries as well.
Yeah, the Dragons aren't the only one that have had some damaged players. That's part of the college football. It's a price you pay.
1st and 10 for Northern State. They'll keep it on the ground. Jake Bussey, one of the first ones in for the Dragons. 5 sacks this year for Bussey. There's Christian McIlvain. This is his final game, too. It's not just the seniors. For MSU Moorhead, McIlvain completes 52% of his passes, a modest 14 touchdowns and 6 interceptions. It's 2nd and 9 as Northern State keeps it on the ground again. Erlinson and Nicholas Truin will switch running backs for Northern State. Truin nearly 1,000 yards. There's the Dragons defense. Darlene Antelak, 2 of the defensive linemen that get to start. They're seniors. There's Aaron Bowl in the middle. The other Aaron, Doan, has had a good season for the Dragons as well. And in the secondary, Malik Delbrun starting for Grant Ryer, who got NSIC Defensive Player of the Week but then suffered the injury.
Yeah, he is suffered a knee injury and ultimately will face rehabilitation. That will be back next year, but won't be there today. And the Wolves, just like that, pick up a first down. And the Dragons were looking for that quick 3 and out, not only to get the ball back, but to force the Wolves early on a punt into the wind. Well, those plans, you can put them on hold temporarily First and 10, Northern State.
Yeah, it was a personal foul. So Northern State moving into this win, just underway, less than a minute into the ball game. We finish it up. We start basketball. Both the Dragon men and women out of town this weekend. The men got win number 1 last night. Truan right up the middle. He's going to get grabbed by Darlene, thrown back by Michael Strand. As Northern State focusing their attention on the running game here early.
Yeah, and that will probably be their MO all day. They like to run the football, and the Dragon defense kind of likes that challenge. And the quarterback, as you mentioned, is certainly a good passer. I don't think he ranks with the league's elite, but he's dangerous when he keeps the ball, and obviously the run is a big part of their offensive blueprints.
Northern State averages just under 200 yards per game on the ground. The Dragons have the 4th best run defense at 216 yards per game given up. Again, it's true, and he's going to be violently escorted out of bounds. Aaron Doan on the outer edge got a piece of him and threw him down.
Yeah, Doan has kind of quietly emerged into a top-flight defender, hasn't he been? Kind of overlooked with some of the veterans above him, but 48 tackles now? Certainly. Has had an outstanding season for the Dragons.
It is 3rd down for Northern State. They need 10. McIlvain looks over at the sidelines. He has 2 receivers flanked wide. He wants to put it up for the first time today. Right over the middle, slings it, incomplete. Abe Rorick didn't get the ball away from Connor Doherty, who's 6'3" and 250, a senior out of Brookings, South Dakota. But Rourke, as he's done all season long, did the job.
Yes, and the Dragons come up with a big stop. They'll force the Wolves to punt, and it's our first look at their punter, Jake Wiedrick. We've talked about him several times. His dad, of course, Keith Wiedrick, the trainer with the Dragons. Jake had a great career at Moorhead High School back in punting formation.
He's the 7th best punter in the NSIC at 37 yards per kick. He's going to kick this one into a stiff wind. It's a direct snap and a fake, and Northern State's going to get the first down. So Northern State rolling the dice. It's Josh Coyle, who's run the ball this season. He was one of the upbacks. He gained 17 yards. Here it is again. Some trickery here.
Right.
Instead of kicking the ball.
Well done. I was focusing on Wiedrick, and so were some of the Dragons, I suspect. But so the Wolves decided to roll the dice early. I think part of that thinking might be this wind, knowing that even with a punt, they're not going to get a lot out of it. They were willing to take the gamble, and it paid off for a first down.
Josh Coyle, who's an inside linebacker, has rushed the ball now 3 times for 35 yards. McIlvain with time, fires, complete. Perfect pass in front of Aaron Doan as he hits Zachary Barber for the 25th time this season. Barber has 3 touchdowns and averages just under 20 yards per catch.
Yeah, slant pattern, nicely thrown. Wasn't a pretty good coverage that time, but that ball had a lot of zip on it. Another first down for the Wolves.
Screen over on this side to Zach Culbreth. He'll get taken down by Rorick, but he'll pick up 6 yards. Culbreth with his 31st catch this season. You see the scores in the NSIC flashing across the bottom. It dawned on me. Dragons, Northern State, Augustana playing Southwest. Every football team this weekend to close the season is playing their travel partner in basketball. Way to go, Aaron Lind and the good folks down in the NSIC office with the schedulers. You couldn't get up and fool us here on the final week as McIlvain keeps it, rushes all the way down to the 11-yard line. An impressive first drive for Northern State.
Yeah, he may not throw it as well as a Hine or a Hyde or some of the other quarterbacks we've talked a lot about in the league, but he can rush the football. 498 yards coming into the game on the ground. He has a lot of confidence in his ability to run the football, and he was able that time to turn it up for the first down, the ball outside of the 12. So the Wolves have cobbled together quite a drive here early on into the wind.
Double tight ends for Northern State. They pitch the ball to Taylor Haushin, running on the far side of the field. He loses the football, but he's going to get marked down. They're going to say he stepped out of bounds at the 4-yard line. So it's the final game of the season. They've already executed a fake punt, a little pitch into the line, And this is just the first drive.
Yeah, that's almost like a little shovel pass. But I think you're right. It's time to empty out the playbook, right? This is it. So if you, no sense saving anything for anybody else because there isn't anybody else this year.
No playoffs for either one of these squads. Just win number 7 and at least a tie for second place. McIlvain wants to put it up. He's in trouble. Darlene's going to get him. Lingo's going to pile on top of him. Darlene with his team leading 6.5 sacks this season.
Yeah, that certainly didn't work as they had envisioned it did it, and they were maybe fortunate to get back to about the 6-yard line. He was back about the 10, dancing for his lives. Plenty of pressure that time put on by the Dragons. Kind of a rare mistake that time by the Wolves. Now it's 3rd down and goal. Ball is at the 6.
Darlene didn't want to do any dancing with Wolves. He just wanted to throw the quarterback to the fake grass. 3rd and goal from the 6. McIlvain accepts the knee-high snap. Throws incomplete. The ball should have been caught by Zach Colbreth. A perfect pass right off his fingertips.
I was thinking that ball would have been caught last night. I don't know if you watched the North Dakota High School tournament. There were some marvelous catches. And that ball, you're right, Stephen, that was a catchable ball. Maybe not easy, but the Wolves come up a little empty on that. That was thrown well enough. It ought to have been a touchdown. The Dragons fortunate to force the Wolves into kicking for 3.
One of the better kickers in the NSIC, Nathan Shaw, who's 9 of 10 this season, is going to try a 23-yarder out of the hold of the quarterback McIlvain. High snap. The kick is blocked. A foot race for the football. And the Dragons will have it at the 42-yard line. Look, when I kicked back in the Stone Age 30 years ago, we were 7 yards behind the line of scrimmage. That looked like such a short distance between the center and where that ball was being placed. It all started with a high snap.
Yeah, but credit the kicker that time. He turned around when it looked like the Dragons maybe had a chance to scoop it and score. He stripped the guy, knocked him down from behind, and prevented perhaps the long breakaway touchdown. But the Dragons defense comes up with a stand after all that's done. We're still scoreless. The Dragons have the ball, 1st and 10 at their 43.
There's the offensive line. Jack Pixler, his final game as a Dragon. Corey Ambrose, his final game. Austin Stone not in the starting lineup. He did not pass concussion protocol. He's got a whole plethora of injuries. We wish him well in the offseason. The quarterback is Demetrius Carr, and we saw the graphic earlier today. He has thrown for 26 touchdowns against just 7 interceptions, and like you mentioned, we get him again next year.
Yeah, and it seemed to be he was on a little bit of a roller coaster at previous years, right? A little up and down. We haven't seen that as much. A much more even kind of performance throughout the season this year.
Now he's looking for Damon Gibson. How about that on the second play? Gibson doing what he's done all season long in the end zone. Touchdown, Dragons.
Yeah, no surprise. We know they're going there. Everybody knows it. Maybe not the Wolves. If not, not enough respect paid to Gibson. I don't know what you do if you're a defensive coordinator, Steve, but you can't just play him man on man, and you certainly can't be casual. He's way too good an athlete for that. He got some separation early on, the ball well thrown, just like that, the Dragons strike.
57 yards as Demetrius Carr throws his 27th touchdown of the season. Here's a bad snap. The kicker Chesvold has it, and he's going to get clobbered by Channing Barber. So we've already had a lot, and we're just 5.5 minutes into the ball game as we take a break. 9:16 left in the first quarter. It's 6-0 Dragons.
Liddy here with another lesson.
Okay, gotta make a list. Pay cable bill, research car insurance rates, get groceries. And my student loan payment is due next week.
You look stressed. If you're worried about money, try riding that bus.
There is a bus stop pretty close to my job. I could give it a try.
Awesome. More conditioner?
Thanks a lot.
He learned his lesson. Join us and take the challenge to ride green.
Well, Stephen, some twisted minds might call it a scoring drive. I'm not so sure on that. 57 yards, 2 plays, but it is a 57-yard touchdown pass to Gibson. His 16th touchdown reception of the year. Wow, and just like that, the Dragons with the lead. A couple of botched special teams plays on both sides right now. Leaves the Dragons with a 6-0 lead, but the Dragons, with the win, will be kicking off to the Wolves. 9:16 left. Early on, first quarter, the Dragons lead the Wolves 6-0.
Remember, it's Gibson's 17th touchdown. He also walked into the end zone after a blocked punt earlier this season. It's Steven Erlinson this time handling the kickoff cleanly. And a good return as he gets horse collar down at the 29-yard line. On special teams, Miles Baggett, just a freshman out of the Chicagoland area, to make the stop. If you're Northern State, you're going, hey, wait a second. We've owned this game so far, and we're down 6-0.
Yeah, kind of an empty feeling on that side, right? You had the feeling like we're not dominating play, but kind of, had our will so far, and yet they're behind. And of course, they face that troublesome area. If they don't move it enough and they have to kick into the wind, that could set the Dragons up in great shape for their next possession.
Truin cutting the corner, paying the price. Joe Rademacher's going to finish him off for the Dragons, is getting him first. Casey Paskey, boy, we've talked about the Dragons bettering their depth in the offseason, and Steve Lockway and Rob Hunt, this entire staff, have done so. So even when they're as banged up as they are now at season's end, they still have quality guys on the field.
Yeah, they have a wave of young guys getting better and better all the time.
Here's a fumbled snap. I don't know if it's the wind or the mild weather, but that's the third bad snap from center. 2 on special teams, and now that looked like a good snap. Looked like McIlvain just took his eye off the ball.
Yeah, you might be a little anxious. It is a big game, as you mentioned. They're aware of that as well. It's a meaningful game for the Wolves as well, but maybe a little bit of frustration early on. Maybe some mistakes setting in anyway, and now the Wolves looking at a 3rd and 11 at their 28. And again, this is not where they want it. Exchange the ball. They don't want to give it up from here.
And they've already used the fake punt card. McIlvain with time, throwing downfield, incomplete. That is great coverage. Great closure. DeAndre Taylor at the last moment, along with Malik Delbrun, knocked that ball away.
Yeah, it might have went over the top, but a nice play. If there was a chance for a reception, he certainly put an end to that quickly. Now the Wolves backed up, and as you mentioned, they've already dialed up the fake kick. They're not apt to do it back here, but they're in some peril punting from their own 28, 4th down and 11.
Into the wind. Now we should see Wiedrich for the first time. Boy, that's a good kick into the wind. Yeah. Sweep from his own 29. That's 43 yards into the wind. I guarantee you down on the sideline, Dragons trainer Keith Wiedrich is going, that's my boy.
Yeah, I've talked to the dad about that a few times. His average is fairly modest, but you know what happens? He said so many times this year, you're on the 50 kicking. They don't want you to kick in the end zone. They want you, to pooch it. He's been asked a lot of times to punt at like 35 yards, and it's a little different format, so the numbers don't print out very well. He's capable like he was there. That was a great kick that time. But a lot of times, depending on your field position, it does impact the punters. But a good kick by Mr. Wiedrich, and the Dragons, though, in fine shape, 1st and 10 at the 36.
Channing Barber, Joe Parsley in the defensive secondary. They're good for Northern State, as so's Demetrius Carr as he hits Damon Gibson for an 11-yard pickup and a 1st down.
Yeah, they're good, but Gibson's better, right?
Yes.
Channing Barber, as you mentioned, is probably their premier defensive player. He's got, 17 deflections this year, some interceptions. He's been a key player for me. Yeah, he ranks with the league's best, but he is facing the league's best receiver by far today in Gibson.
Here's a run that's going to go nowhere. It was Zach Sweep trying to go straight ahead. Channing Barber has 4 interceptions this season, 2nd best in the NSIC. 2 of them he's returned for touchdown.
A playmaker indeed. You mentioned Sweep that time. The Dragons are a little thin at running back, though, right? Without Stone, he's been the ringleader this year. He's had a very nice season for him. Sweep has done a good job too, but there's not much behind him at this point.
Sweep. Straight ahead, 11 yards. They'll use Sweep, Colgrove. Remember, they also have Dylan Hall and Jonathan Kabambi, so they're not short. They're just short of their number 1 rusher, Austin Stone.
Yeah, might be shy of experience. That doesn't make any difference there, does it? Nice pickup that time by Sweet. And sometimes this is interesting, guys. Get the chance to play an expanded role, and they just pounce on it like Sweet did there.
Why? because of the offensive line. Again, it was one of the question marks this season, all season long. Simply fantastic. Sweep this time, again between the tackles. Picks up 2. There's the University of Sioux Falls. That game started at noon. A win today, and they're up 13-0. They finish 11-0.
Definitely playoff bound, and Minnesota Duluth appears away. Bemidji would have had an opportunity. I don't think they're going to now because of that painful loss to the Dragons last week. Had they won and finish off today against Minnesota Crookston, they would be in position to challenge for a spot, but it would appear that the league would have just 2 teams playoff bound this year.
Broughton wide open. He'll lower his shoulder, get down to the 27-yard line, pick up 14 easy yards. Watch how easy this was.
Yeah, and part of that I think might be Gibson, because they're so concerned about him. He drags people deep, and he wasn't even near the play, but nobody was around Broughton.
Just under the 6-minute mark, first quarter, sweep, 2 hands around the football, and he'll get hit by Chad Stotterell, one of the better defensive linemen in the league. He attends college at Northern State. A 1-yard pickup. It'll be 2nd and 9. We'll have a throwback Stump Scotty coming up here at our next chance. I'm not very good at math, but I believe you're 5-0 this season. So the University of Sioux Falls is looking for their perfect season, and so are you, with the appropriately named Stump Scotty. To the end zone, Gibson. One of the few balls this season he hasn't caught.
Yeah, and he didn't have maybe a realistic chance, but you almost catch your breath thinking this young guy can catch everything, and he was not far away. That ball just barely eluded him, but look at him lay out there. Wow, just off his fingertips in the back of the end zone. And to think he was a high school quarterback at Beardsley, Minnesota is where he came out of. He looked at Northern State. That was one of his considerations for a college choice, along with North Dakota State School of Science. Fortunately for the Dragons, he settled on MSUM.
He looks good in red. He looks good grabbing that ball. He looks really good trying to get the first down. It'll set up about a 4th and 1 as the Dragons pick up nearly 9, and no sign of the kicker Chesvold. This is 4-down territory. 4th and a long yard. They need about 4 feet. 3 receivers wide on the near side for the Dragons. Sweep in the backfield next to Carr.
Well, you wonder, Steve, they mishandled the last extra point, either on a snap or hold or whatever, but you wonder how much that went into the thinking. But clearly, they weren't apt to go for the field goal here on 4th down and 2.
And now Steve Lockway has to burn a timeout because the play clock was just at a couple. All right, Scotty, here we go. We just advertised it. We're going old school with your trivia question. There it is. Damon Gibson, before today, is averaging 17.3 yards per catch this season. Who holds the Dragons' record for most yards per catch in a season? Is it your friend Jeff Tesh, Dragon assistant coach Adam Jiskra, Bricker Johnson, or Jabari Taylor, who played back in 2006 and 2007? So we're looking for the all-time record holder for yards per catch. That's one of the records that Damon Gibson's not going to get this season. Our friends that are watching this game at home can ponder, and we will ask you to come up with an answer in the second quarter. 6-0, the Dragons with the lead. Northern State went all the way down the field, tried a field goal. It was blocked. The Dragons recovered at their own 43-yard line. An incomplete pass over the middle to Hunter Broughton, and then that guy right there, Damon Gibson, found the end zone from 57 yards out.
Yeah, interesting how the Dragons kind of flipped the script here. Early on, it looked like the Wolves had their imprint all over the game, a real strong scoring opportunity. Ultimately got nothing out of it. The Dragons came back, scored, on the verge of scoring again.
Colgrove, straight up the middle. He's being pushed by his lineman, and I'm looking at the official on the far side of the field. He looks short.
Yeah, they'll sort it out, but I think you're right. I think the Wolves found a defensive answer that time. And I think the Dragons are
conceding. Yeah.
Yep.
Matt Thorson got him first, the strong safety out of a nearby suburb of South Dakota. Groton, South Dakota.
Yeah, we passed through that on the way to Aberdeen, don't we? On those many basketball and football trips down there. Big stand that time for the Wolves. Man, that gives them certainly some renewed confidence. Critical point in this football game. They didn't want to fall behind by a couple scores. Came out with a big stop on 4th down.
The big restaurant in Groton, South Dakota is a Dairy Queen. I am a fan of the biggest restaurant in Groton, South Dakota. Here's a run, and it's Shaka Kelly, who's nearing the 100 rush mark this season, a modest gain of a couple.
And I think that's where the volleyball bus broke down this year heading into Aberdeen. No, I think it was in Groton. And the town's good enough to get the high school bus there to get the Dragons over to Aberdeen for the game. I might have the wrong town, but I'm almost positive that's the town. The good folks in South Dakota, great places, great faces, right?
And great backup bus service, apparently. A run straight ahead. It's Shaka Kelly again, getting a couple. It's going to set up a 3rd and 1. If you're looking for a high-quality swimming lessons program in the FM area, visit msumdragons.com/swim for the Dragons Swim School. Learning to navigate the water is easy with the help of the Dragon Swim School.
Speaking of navigating, 3rd down and 1 situation this time for Northern State. 3:25 remaining in the first period. The Dragons with a 6-0 lead on the Wolves in NSIC football.
Truant back in the ball game. He's the deep back, and there he is looking for the first down, and he's going to get it. As he got a good block that time by his right tackle, Mitch Brockhouse at 6'7", 285, and Northern State will keep the sticks going. If you're looking for a good neighbor agency in our community, the Eggers Agency on 8th Street in Moorhead has served Fargo, Moorhead, and the surrounding area for over 20 years. Call them today, 218-233-1334, or stop by the Eggers Agency on 8th Street in Moorhead. Thank you, David. We will see you at Dragon basketball this season. McIlvain across the middle. He's got a man. He's gone. It's Zachary Barber. No one's going to catch him. We're tied as he goes 67 yards, 6'6".
What a shocker. A little slant pattern. That time the Dragons didn't see that coming. Nobody did. Strike open receiver, not by a lot, but a great throw right on the money, and the Wolves dial up a touchdown just like that. Faked the end sweep, came right back, right over the top, got by the Dragon safety, off to the races. Nobody there to help out. So just like that, the Wolves have drawn even at 6, 2:44 left.
All right, so Shaw's going to try again to give Northern State the lead. His field goal try of 23 yards was blocked. This time it's a low snap. This kick's on the way, and give a lot of credit to the kicker, Shaw. He was under duress, but got it through. We'll take a break. 2:44 remaining here in the first quarter. It's Northern State now up 7-6.
This is Dragons Live.
For expanded regional news, watch something extra. For extended weather coverage, watch something extra. The news at 9, weeknights on WDAY's Extra. Extra news, extra weather, extra features that fit your schedule. Unique stories, fresh perspective, extra fast. Extra, the first word for 9 o'clock news. There's always something extra. Weeknights on WDAY's Extra News at 9.
All right, Scotty, 4 plays, 82 yards, and you're right. These haven't been manufactured drives. They've just been long strikes.
Yeah. You're sitting looking at a 3rd and 1 situation. A couple plays later, they've scored, right? Just that quickly. They get the first down, of course, and go right over the top. I think that kind of stunned the Dragons. I don't think, we've mentioned before, they're very concerned and conscious of the running ability of the Wolves. That's how they like to hang their offensive hat on the run, but they're not afraid to throw the ball. They'll pick their spots, and boy, did they pick the right spot that time.
High. Very short kick, grabbed by Zach Sweep. And now he's going to run a sweep near sideline. He's going to run out of real estate, but boy, does he deliver a hit to Quest Parham, a junior out of Novato, California. Sweep said, I might go down, but I'm going down with a thump.
Oh, that was nice special teams lick put on that time by the Wolves.
And Mr. Sweet, boom. Meet Mr. Parham. I myself would have gone down or out of bounds before delivering the hit, but that's why I'm up here and they're down there. 1st and 10 for the Dragons, 2:37 remaining first quarter. Northern State, the 7-6 lead. Carr wants to put it up. He's got Gibson here on the near side, and a sure-handed tackle made by Etienne Ezef out of Santa Rosa, California. So it's 2nd and 5 for the Dragons, who have 3 wide on the far side of the field. Gibson this time covered by Barber, a little too closely covered as he'll draw the flag.
Yeah, how frustrating is that to shadow and trying to watch Gibson? Pretty good coverage by Barber right there. He kind of reached his hand around to try and dislodge it. Was trailing Gibson on the play, and he gets a interference call on it. It's got to be exasperating. That's a hard enough job anyway, right? And if you're not going to get a little help or an endorsement from the officials, makes it that much harder. But it is a penalty, and it will be to the Dragons' credit, and it is Barber flagged on that play.
Well, he should have had a lot of good practice because his brother just caught a touchdown pass, right?
Yeah.
So you would think he's gotten a lot of D-back experience just in his backyard in Del Rapids, South Dakota. They do flag him properly, right? Oh, yeah. He was all over Gibson. Ball at the 47-yard line, 7-6 Northern State with the lead. Bad snap again. Carr stands in the pocket, throws to Gibson. And Barber this time hanging on by a thread literally after a 24-yard pickup.
Yeah, amazing. Bad snap. Looked like that play could be a near disaster for the Dragons. Turns out to be something very special. He's able to pick up the ball on the rebound, just that quickly get it off to an open Gibson, first down.
If Barber doesn't get just enough of Gibson's jersey, I think Damon could still be running. Gibson has the score for the Dragons earlier in this quarter from the Wolves' 29-yard line. 1st and 10, sweep in the backfield. Ambrose in the slot. Carr looking his way, and now he's going to improvise. Demetrius.
Wow.
Are you kidding me? An amazing 8.5-yard run.
Yeah, that is dances with wolves right there, right? That time he spun around, did a kind of complete 360, picked his spot, eluded 2 or 3 wolves had shots at him. There's one right there. And here's another one.
There's
slips
2.
Past him.
Stotterell got blocked, 3. And finally, Tanner Lopez, senior out of Chandler, Arizona, made the tackle. 2nd and 2. Carr looking towards the end zone. He's got Corey Ambrose, the senior. Touchdown, MSU Moorhead. They retake the lead.
Yeah, but found a little extra time that time, didn't he? Did that with his feet. Got open, kind of ambled over to the left, found some extra opportunity to throw the football. By that time, the Wolves secondary had kind of collapsed, and it is an open and eager Ambrose waiting that pass. Look at that. There he is, Corey Ambrose from Graston, Minnesota, one of the many seniors on this Dragon roster. Another big play for the Dragon's smallest receiver.
As great and as much attention as Damon Gibson has gotten this season, Corey Ambrose is now over the 600-yard mark. That was his 40th catch and his 9th touchdown. Chesvold punches the extra point through. We'll step away. 42 seconds left first quarter. We're back and forth here in Moorhead.
Another day. And just like every day, it never seems to slow down. But you have a plan. Grab a cup, grab the paper, and grab a little time. Just for you. It's worth it. Don't get the paper? Just grab the phone. Call now and save up to 60% off the newsstand price. Journalists, bringing the story home every day.
Well, Stephen, this looks more like a drive, doesn't it? 69 yards. in 4 plays. Took a minute and 55, but it is Carr, 21-yard pass to an open Ambrose. And the extra point, the Dragons now leading 13-7. It's kind of like one of those almost vaudeville acts. You got the Gibson and Ambrose, right? And they work really kind of in a tandem. They're not often on the same side of the field and receiving, but there's so much concern and awareness that has to be paid to Gibson. If you do that, or if you overindulge on Gibson, you'll pay a price, and it's usually Ambrose. He is there to provide another open target, and it's happened several times this year. They're about exhausted trying to cover Gibson, and it is Ambrose throws that dagger. And that time it is Ambrose with another touchdown, and the Dragons back on top 13-7.
For what it's worth, they scored in the first quarter, so Chesvold gets the luxury of this win, and boy, he does not take advantage of it again. A couple short kicks, and now this time he kicked it a mile, but it went out of bounds before the pylon, so Northern State will get the football in relatively good field position. 13-7, a lot at stake here in this football game here today, and we've been treated here so far.
Yeah, that's quite a price to pay for a little missed kick, isn't it, or misstep, and it wasn't far off. It looked great at first. Looked like a wonderful kick, but it did, in fact, go out of bounds just shy of the pylon, so that means instead of at the 20, the Wolves will start at their 35, trailing 13-7.
McIlvain in the gun. He'll give it up the middle to Shaka Kelly, and he'll go up to about the 37. And Northern State, if they choose, don't have to run another play. McIlvain so far 3 of 6 for 89 yards. A lot of that on the big strike. 67 yards to Zachary Barber, putting Northern State on top. But the Dragons have just recaptured the lead. They don't look like they're in any hurry here with 10 seconds remaining in the first quarter. In fact, they're not going to run another play. End of a quarter here as we close out 2016. The Dragons have a half-dozen-point lead.
TV here, TV there. Yes, it's TV everywhere. In the car, in a tree. Midco makes it easy, see? Mid-Continent's TV everywhere. Take some of your favorite programming, well, everywhere on your mobile devices. TV everywhere on the moon? Not just yet, but maybe soon. Mid-Continent's TV everywhere. Free with your cable subscription. Click happiestdevices.com.
Just one quick score to pass along, all right? St. Cloud State having a down year, playing against Minnesota Duluth today. Minnesota Duluth looking like they're going to the playoffs. It's St. Cloud State 14, Minnesota Duluth nothing as they start the second quarter. Here's Truan straight ahead picking up 3.
St. Cloud, kind of a funny team, kind of an enigma a little bit. They beat the Dragons, a game that the Dragons felt lousy about afterwards, remember that. And then Bemidji beat them and scored 48 straight points against St. Cloud a little bit later. And now, surprisingly though, the Huskies ahead of Minnesota Duluth. And it's early on in the football game, but certainly a revival of sorts for St. Cloud State today.
3rd and a couple.
Whoa.
This ball's nearly intercepted on the far side. Jerry Ray, just a sophomore, so he's got a couple years left. He's had a solid season for the Dragons. This ball, I think it shocked him it was heading his way, and then ultimately a little too tall for him.
Now this is a scenario I like as a kicker, right, Stephen? It is a 4th down situation, but you got almost 60 yards to work with, a little over 60 yards of real estate.
And the wind. Weidrich's first kick was 43 yards into the wind. Remember, they've already faked it once, too. This time, Weidrich will boot it. A high spiraling kick. Fair catch being indicated by Sweet. Weidrich does his job. 41-yard punt. I give the trainer's kid credit. He looks good.
Yeah, he certainly does. And fun to see him all growing up and kicking in the league. And we remember him as a young guy being the ball boy for the Dragons and hanging around this field for years. And parlayed that into a nice career at Moorhead High. Of course, he's a terrific pole vaulter as well. We'll see him at the conference track meet in that and enjoying things at Northern State. As you mentioned, a great kick. The Dragons with the fair catch, and they'll start at their 19. 14-19 left, just starting second quarter. The Dragons leading the Wolves 13-7.
Sweep lunges forward, picks up about 5.5. Minnesota Duluth ranked 5th in the region. Northwest Missouri State, Sioux Falls, Harding, all undefeated. Then Emporia State, then Minnesota Duluth. A loss today would probably knock them out, wouldn't you think?
Yeah, and we've talked before. We don't know how deep they could go in the playoffs. It's a nice club, of course. They beat the Dragons.
There goes Gibson again. What else hasn't he done this season? He'll pick up 14 here.
Yeah, and the Dogs have won a couple national titles in previous years. I don't think this is a national championship kind of club. They're a good team, don't get me wrong. I don't really think anybody in the NIC will see. Maybe Sioux Falls can make a run, but Northwest Missouri State, number 1 in the country, and Emporia State, the MIAA, well represented.
Low snap, gobbled up by Carr. Sweep, not much here. 13:30 remaining, first half. The Dragons lead it 13-7. I agree with you. I think Minnesota State Mankato the last couple years, certainly Minnesota Duluth when they did win their national championships. I'm rooting for the University of Sioux Falls. If Duluth makes it, sure. I just think this is Northwest Missouri State's region.
Yeah, and of course the Dragons think that they're not far away from being in that picture contending, you know, and that's something hopefully that comes in the near future. They've made drastic strides, obviously, and that would be the next thing, to get into that upper echelon with MSU Mankato, Minnesota Duluth, and then hopefully someday maybe have that opportunity to go on a postseason play. That's a ways away, but at a couple of years ago, that seemed like completely out of reach. It's obviously much more attainable goal right now. They're not going to worry about it anymore because they've got to take care of Northern and exit with style this year. That's the most important thing right now.
They tried to hit a home run on second down. They throw over the middle on third down to Gibson. It's broken up by Matt Thorson, and it's fourth down. The Dragons are going to have to punt this thing away.
Yeah, and obviously this isn't one of the real strengths. The Dragons will rely on the young kicker from Oaks will come on, Bryce Meal, to kick for the Dragons, but he is largely inexperienced on the collegiate level, and of course probably more worrisome right now, punting into a pretty sizable win. So 4th down and 9, the Dragons appear to be ready to give it up to the Wolves.
Joe Parsley is deep for Northern State. Meal gets it away, a good spiraling kick. It hits the wind. Parsley grabs it at about the 27-yard line. A 31-yard kick, no return. I remember, and let's not throw all this weight on Meal's shoulders.
Oh, no,
remember,
no.
Damon Gibson was supposed to be the kicker this season.
Yeah, it isn't like Meal was brought in only to be the specialist. You're right. He's just filling that role when asked to do that. That was a good kick considering, in addition, they brought a lot of smoke, a lot of heat. The young man didn't panic, right? He got it away, and there's a fair catch, so there's no return. Overall 31 net, that's okay. In fact, that's very good today, considering these elements.
St. Cloud State has scored again, so's Duluth. 21-7, St. Cloud State with the lead. Early in the second quarter, McIlvain going long, but Isaac Hodge, a redshirt freshman out of Minneapolis, was stumbling down the middle of the field. He looked like he had a couple of steps on Jeremiah Ari, and that's saying something.
Yeah, he did, but not a lot of real separation. That would have taken almost a perfect pass. And again, that really isn't the strength of this quarterback.
Truan on a sweep, being strung out. The Dragons have been so disciplined all season long. Aaron Doan eventually finishes him and his helmet off. That's just great pursuit by the guys dressed in red.
Yeah, and I think Rorick was in there too, and they just strung that out. You could see the young guy looking, now when can I cut up In fact, there was nothing when he got to the sidelines. Rorick with the tackle, number 79, unofficially. He is, of course, an inside linebacker now for the Dragons, a one-time defensive back. A one-time Stanley Steamer from Western North Dakota has really done a good job for the Dragons.
The leading tackler for the Dragons as well. Doan got him. Rorick helps string him out. It's 3rd and 9 for Northern State. McIlvain looks downfield, incomplete. Just never looked like he was on the same page with his tight end Connor Doherty, who's caught 30 balls this season, including 7 touchdowns. And now the Dragon defense comes up with a stop. Jacob Wiedrich comes back into the ball game.
Yeah, in fact, DeAndre Taylor was back there. He never even got beyond Taylor, did he? We talked something about separation. He never even really got up to Taylor. Taylor was the deepest player on the field that time, that play. No chance to succeed. 4th and 9.
Zach sweep deep for the Dragons. Big.
Wow.
Booming kick.
Oh, wow. Not only that, look at that roll on top of it.
How about 68 yards with no return?
Yeah.
68 for Wiedrich. That was impressive.
Yeah, nicely done, young man. Again, he's a kind of a favorite of a lot of ours, but boy, that goes beyond friendship. That was one whale of a kick, and he got the favorable roll. So that sets the Wolves up in wonderful shape for this defensive stand. Now the Dragons will take over 1st and 10, the ball at the 3.
Yeah, and Logan Long just went to Keith Wiedrich, who has a little smirk on his face, the father of the punter. Yeah, I wonder if Logan Long was about, hey, wait a second here. Wipe that smirk off your face.
Yeah, I think they're aware of that. I think that's kind of gotten around to the team over the years that Keith's son is on the other team and is a very good kicker.
That was impressive. So is this run by Zach Sweep. He's loose.
Uh-oh.
Fumbles the football. It's going to be Northern State ball. It's picked up by Tanner Lopez. He'll run the other way and he'll spin down. And Northern State is in business off the turnover.
Wow, sudden change, wasn't it? That time a great run to start. Bolted out, which would have been a first down. Somehow the ball pops loose at the end. It's the Wolves that are there to scoop and run and turn it into something special. And just like that, following the great kick, a play later, it's the Wolves. They come up with a big play defensively and start in a wonderful field position. The ball will be at about the 15-yard line. 1st and 10, Northern State trailing 13-7.
Joe Parsley, there's a flag down as well. Joe Parsley stripped it. It wasn't Tanner Lopez. It was Cody Bragger who scooped it up. Here's Jim Hardy to say hi to us.
Dead ball fall. Unsportsmanlike conduct. Number 63.
Wow.
On Moorhead State.
Sportsmanlike
Pulling
after the play
people off
on
the pile.
Isaac Ripplinger, one
That'll
of the
be half
offensive
the
linemen.
distance goal. First down,
for the
Northern
Dragons.
State.
So march the ball halfway to the goal line, and it'll be 1st and goal for Northern State from the 7.5-yard line.
I think you can probably trace that to frustration, I'm guessing, right? We get a personal foul after all this is done, after the fumble, the pickup, and the return by the Wolves. So we're guessing it's a personal foul in the Dragons. Nonetheless, that moves the ball up to the 7.
McIlvain keeps it, gets grabbed and thrown down just shy of the 5-yard line. Michael Strand, his Barnesville Trojans won again. They'll march down to TCF Bank Stadium and play in the semifinals next week.
Yes, they will, won't they? And we also want to salute DGF. Nearby DGF is getting in, and a lot of people with their fingers crossed. Mighty Alexandria, home of the Cardinals, play tonight, but they play even mightier Elk River. That looks like a bridge too far. But again, congrats to Barnesville particularly and DGF. Well done, young guys.
Here's a pitch, and lunging for the end zone was Shaka Kelly. Did he get in? Yes. Touchdown,
wow.
Northern State. Shaka Kelly with his 2nd rushing touchdown this season, and we're knotted up once again.
Yeah, that shocked some people around here, doesn't it? You can hear the kind of the roar, like, wait a minute, did it make it? He might have hit the pylon. That seems to be one of the telltale signs in college football today. We'll watch here on the option. He gets the ball outside. Strand is there, kind of reaches out. I think he hit the pylon in the end. It looked like he may have been a little bit short. That's what some Dragon fans were thinking, but it doesn't count. It's the Wolves that score. We're tied. The kick to come.
Shaw for the lead. Gets it through. 11:07 left, first half, and we still continue on this seesaw.
But this is kind of what you thought, right?
All day long.
Yeah.
14-13 Northern State.
Buffalo Wild Wings Team Up for Kids program is proud to support the Boys and Girls Clubs of America. Join us at buffalowildwings.com/giving.
All right, Stephen, the Wolves grabbed the lead that time with a 38-yard drive following the fumble. 8-yard drive, rather, on just 2 plays. It is a touchdown run by Shaka Kelly, 6 yards, that brought the Wolves even the extra point, put them ahead, so it's Northern 14, MSU Moorhead 13.
I told you this when you walked into the booth today. The last 2 games to close the season, the Dragons have killed Minnesota Crookston. Sure, there's a possibility the Dragons can lose this football. I just love with the amount that's at stake today. Neither of these teams are going to the playoffs or going to the Mineral Water Bowl. They're looking for win number 7. I mean, this is not Minnesota Duluth playing for their lives. Here's Hunter Broughton with some running room. I think this is a great way to close the season.
I agree with you. We've seen too many of them before. We've seen them when the Dragons were outgunned, right, going to a Mankato or Duluth without a realistic chance to win.
Right.
We've seen some other ones, Minnesota Crooksons and Marys that the Dragons won with relative ease, but honestly, there isn't a lot of fun or satisfaction in it. This is a much more significant football game. You may not win it because this means a lot to Northern State, and they're basically 2 pretty even football teams. But that's for part of the drama. You're right, Stephen. We could expect this ought to be a spirited affair the whole day.
Sweep, a lot of running room. Boy, did he lower the boom on Alex Gray out of Pierce, South Dakota. 12 muscular yards for a sweep and a first down.
Yeah, good for him. And they were able to shake off their miscue the last time they had the ball following the run and the fumble. They come right back, running right up the gut, big chunks of yards.
Brilliant sunshine on a 50-some degree day here in Moorhead. It's a little breezy, but boy, have we had gorgeous weather all fall long, including today.
Yeah, the football gods pretty kind to the Dragons.
I love this, mid-fall Saturday afternoon under the brilliant sunshine on this gorgeous Shields field turf. Sweep again. Got 2 yards. Chad Stotterell, the Wolves' leading tackler, now with 68 this season. He also leads them with 8 tackles for loss. It's 2nd and 8. 10-10 remaining second quarter. Northern State up by a point. Sweep again with running room. 11 more yards, and now this Dragon offensive line is starting to take control of the trenches.
Yeah, the Wolves are a little vulnerable in the interior part of their defense. Apparently, the Dragons able to move the ball pretty effectively on the ground right now.
Demetrius, swing, sweep. Looking for some running room, got it. He went vertical, paid the price as Trevor Heining out of Atwater, Minnesota blasted him, but I think Sweep thinks that getting hit hard, watch this. This is almost a lateral. This might just count as a rush. Watch this. Sweep will go up and then into the sidelines after he picked up 8 yards. 2nd and 2. Gibson's been quiet the last couple of drives. Sweep. Got a great block that time by Andrew Erickson, just a sophomore offensive lineman of St. Croix, Wisconsin, on the interior line as it looked like he pulled. Sweep followed him and picked up 6 yards in the first down.
Yeah, you said early on the Dragons would not have Stone, who had been their leading rusher and was really had developed into one of the more reliable running backs in this league. And suddenly, I don't want to say he's forgotten, but Sweep with 898 yards of rushing. yards coming into this game. A suddenly Sweep averaging 6.8 yards a carry today. More than an admirable fill-in job today.
Here's Jonathan Kabambi, gets hit by Brendan Hayline out of Roncalli High School in Aberdeen and then goes down. Stone is the one with just under 900 yards. But boy, he's just too banged up, including the concussion, so he had to sit, and that's why Sweep, who's been very good this season, has gotten most of the carries.
Yeah, but it's kind of the reflection on the maturity of this football team when, despite the loss of Stone, you can still stay on that same game plan. Just plug somebody new in. You got enough confidence in him and his offensive pals, and certainly no drop-off today.
Kabambi again. Picked up 4 more. You mentioned Sweep's yards per carry so far today. Stone averages 4.7. Zach Sweep not far behind him at 4.0.
Yeah, these aren't actually late season auditions in a way, but this is pretty precious playing time for a guy like Kabambi and Cole Grove and some others that don't play a lot. They're getting their chance against a quality football team to demonstrate their wares, and they're holding up pretty well so far.
3rd and 1.5 yards. The Dragons probably will get 2 cracks to get the first down. Low snap, Kabambi grabs it, and he's short of the first down as he got taken down by Alex Gray. I don't even think field goal is going through the mind of head coach Steve Lockway.
No, the Dragons with less than a yard to go at this situation, the ball is right at the 15. They've got to probably get to about the 14.
Carr loses the football.
Wow.
It's going to be a turnover either way, no matter who recovers it, as that 4th down never really had a chance to materialize as Taylor Zemlicka out of Waverly, South Dakota comes up with the football.
Yeah, so the Dragons that time, we won't know what may have happened, would we? The Dragons decided not to kick it again. They would be kicking into the wind. The kicking game has been a little bit problematic maybe today, and they just decided that normally with less than a yard to go, there's pretty good odds for the Dragons that time, but certainly missed snap, misplayed ball, and the play was doomed from the beginning. So the Wolves find a way to get the stop with a little help from the Dragons. 1st and 10 at the 23.
Just under 7 minutes remaining. First half, Steve DeStacio, Larry Scott, final football game of 2016. McIlvain with a ton of time, throwing long, has a man, and he threw it right on the button to Taylor Houchin, who dropped it right at the last moment. Houchin wants that ball back.
Wow, he kind of snuck behind a couple of Dragon defensive backs, didn't he? And that ball was well thrown, and it appeared that he had it. He kind of almost vanished from view for a while underneath those Dragon backs right there. But look at that ball.
That's
is
a
there.
Perfect throw.
Yeah, and he, kind of the crocodile arms. He wasn't kind of fully extended. A lot of pressure around him that time. It's an incompletion and a near miss for Northern State.
Dragons dodge a bullet there. That was right on the money. Right up the middle goes Truin. He'll get a couple. It's 3rd and 8.
Yeah, so the Wolves go ahead and go for the home run approach on the first down, come back with trying to go to opposite field here with a running play for just a couple yards. Now you're back to a difficult situation. 3rd and 8. Ball is at the 25. 6:25 left, 2nd quarter. Northern State 14, MSU Moorhead 13.
McIlvain sacked by Ryan Darlene again, the senior with his 2nd sack today.
Stepped up into the pocket and right into Darlene, didn't he? The Dragons really had that pocket surrounded, so he had no choice. Took the step forward, and suddenly there was no extra room there. Darlene, with some help from his friends there to meet him.
This is what I love to see on senior day. Darlene, the senior, 2 sacks. Corey Ambrose, the senior, one of the scores for the Dragons. Wiedrick. Last time all he did was kick one 65-some yards with no return.
That'll work. That'll work just fine.
Are you kidding me? That's a touchback. That's an 82-yard punt.
82-yard punt.
82. His last 2 kicks, he's averaged in the 70s. I wonder where's Keith Weidrich. He's walking the other way.
Yeah, and he's not saying anything about, hey, but that's my boy. And I'll tell you.
Ball bounced at the 25, and it just kept rolling and rolling and rolling, and a great effort that time by Isaac Hodge. And, boy, this has to be just awful for the Weidrich family. He only nets 62 yards on that kick. Wow. So the Dragons get it. 1st and 10 from the 20-yard line. A couple weeks ago, Weidrich was the special teams player of the week in the NSIC as Corey Ambrose can't get away from Matt Thorson. Good tackle at the 22-yard line. 5:11 remaining. Entertaining ball game here in Moorhead. Northern State up 14-13.
Yeah, and what a weapon it is. We didn't really talk. We talked about the numbers so much, but when you think about it, what a lift that is, and it puts the Dragons back deep in their territory. What a boost that is for your defensive unit. So now the Dragons facing the 2nd down and 8. The ball is at the 22, and the Wolves know if they can get a stop now, force the Dragons to kick into the wind, that they would have a marvelous scoring opportunity late here in the 2nd quarter.
Carr fires. Gibson. 1st down. Taylor Houchin just figured out, or at the end, just figured out how tough it is to cover David Gibson.
And those hopes of stopping the Dragons quickly, those kind of evaporated, didn't they? You just get it out to the big guy. He got him, but he just had the tugged on that uniform, and he needed a little help there. Finally got him down, but a 1st down at the 33.
Fresh set of downs for the Dragons. 1st and 10, 4:15 remaining. 1st half, the University of Sioux Falls continues. They now lead Wayne State 23-0 with 2:15 remaining in the 3rd quarter. Minnesota Duluth has scored. They trail 21-14, 5:52 remaining against St. Cloud State, 2nd quarter. Gibson got it.
And
the flag is
is
down. It doesn't matter. 37 yards and a 1st down.
Either way, pretty good coverage that time. We got the personal foul on him and then pass interference, and like you said, regardless, he still caught it. So those Wolves are shaking their heads. What do we do, man? We hit him, we get flagged.
Defense number 1.
Stop him.
That penalty be declined.
First there was
Play
great
results
coverage.
In a 1st down.
Then SF says, wait a minute, this guy's going to catch it anyway. Here's our instant replay presented by Mid-Continent Communications. Good coverage. He never turned his head.
Yeah.
Went to tackle him, and Gibson catches it.
And I don't know how you defend that, because he does have the size and good enough speed, and certainly the vertical, that's one thing. He can soar in the air, and he'll grab everything.
Sweep straight ahead, officially 36 yards. Sweep goes down hard. He'll pick up 4 to the 27.
Yeah, he's been just a nightmare for defensive coordinators all year, and we really haven't seen much different. We kind of thought by this point in the season you might see some really extra attention paid his way, or maybe something creative defensively to try and neutralize him a little bit. But if they've tried something, it certainly hasn't worked, and he remains as dominant today as he's been all year.
2nd and 6 for the Dragons. Carr looking Gibson's way. Makes the connection, but out of bounds. Update your Dragon Pride at the MSU Moorhead Bookstore. Get the hottest Dragon gear to show everyone your love for the Dragons. Go to bookstore.mnstate.edu or click on the Buy Dragon Gear button on the Dragons mobile app today. And if you're staying in Moorhead for the game, call the Microtel Linen Suites by Wyndham at 218-284-4022. The newest hotel in town is comfortable, conveniently located off of I-94 and 8th Street, and is very reasonably priced. Call or search Microtel Moorhead and book your stay online. It's 3rd and 6. Carr looking the other way, and he overshoots Hunter Broughton. It's 4th down, and I'm sure the Dragons will go for it once again.
Yeah, and 3rd down, they finally had a play and a way to stop Gibson, didn't they? The ball was thrown, it was incomplete, it was out of bounds, but oh, by the way, he caught it anyway. Obviously, it didn't count. They come back this time. That time the pass is incomplete. So now it is 4th and 6 at the 27, and again, no thought here of a field goal. This would be pretty sizable, of course, into a win, but the Dragons set up to go for it.
Broughton in motion. Carr running for his life. Lowered his head. He saw the stick and he knew if he went out of bounds, he wasn't going to get it, so he challenged Chad Stotterell, who's 6'3" and 280 out of Garretson, South Dakota, and muscled his way. Watch this. This is a lot of heart by the junior Demetrius Carr.
That's a lousy defensive stand there, and you could see it coming. You almost knew he's going to run it for a first down. They just let him get around the end so easily. And I know they're concerned about the pass, but you can't just let a big guy like that give him that much open territory. A good run that time. Easy first down.
He knew he needed a couple extra yards, and it was going to cost him a pretty solid shot by Stotterell, and Carr took it. That's a lot of heart playing for his seniors.
Yeah, and that's one more dimension. I mean, he can throw the ball. We've seen that. He demonstrates that every day. And, of course, 12 of 18 in the air, 212 yards. But being able to run as he has, that was a big play. Another dimension to that offense. So frustrating for the defense. So concerned about him throwing the ball. You let him kind of escape, and he's able to ramble down and pick up that first down. So now it's 2nd and 10, 1:41, the clock running.
Broughton is with Gibson on the right-hand side. Carr looking in that direction. Fires. He found Gibson. He'll make his 9th catch of the afternoon. That one was good for 16 yards. Gibson now has 183 receiving yards this afternoon.
Yeah, just stepped in front of Matt Thorson right there to make the play at about the 2-yard line. It's a first down for the Dragons, 1:25 left. Time winding down here in the second quarter. 1st and goal for the Dragons.
Yeah, they're in no hurry. Northern State has all 3 of their timeouts. They're not using any here on 1st and goal. So the Dragons will actually, Gibson went out of bounds, so the clock stopped. It's 1st and goal. Carr gives it, sweep over the top. Did he get in? Yes, touchdown. The Dragons are back on top. Zach Sweet with his 3rd rushing touchdown this season. He goes vertical to put the Dragons back on top.
Yeah, the Dragons claw their way back into the lead in this football game. Now ahead 19-14, a very productive drive for the Dragons. They kept alive on that big clutch 4th down run by the quarterback, Demetrius Carr, and finished off on the 2-yard touchdown dive by an airborne Zach Sweet.
Chesfold's extra point is good. No commercial. We've got some business to take care of. In the first quarter, Scotty, I asked you to give me the answer to this question. Damon Gibson is averaging 17.3 yards per catch this season. That's gone up with his performance today. Who holds the Dragons' record for most yards per catch in a season? Was it Jeff Tesh, Adam Jiskra, Bricker Johnson, or Jabari Taylor?
Well, if you look, Tesh led the nation in receiving, but he was a tight end, very good tight end, and so his numbers per catch not quite as impressive. Jiskra, a marvelous receiver, a lot of possession types of catches. Jabari Taylor was almost at my first thought at first blush because he was a big play kind of guy. But the guy that I kept going back to, I've mentioned him several times, Bricker Johnson, the kid from Underwood, kind of a gangly wide out in the old days. He was really the home run kind of threat for the Dragons. They didn't throw it as well or as often back then, but he made some big plays, and I'd go with Bricker Johnson. Look at
I would think you're right. 24.7.
Think of that, 20 per catch. Now, again, that's not nearly as many catches or opportunities as today's game. In fact, Gibson has 9 catches today for 183 yards. He's got 20.3 yards per catch. That's pretty dynamic stuff, but hats off to Brick from the old days.
Short kick grabbed by Zachary Barber, and he'll go out of bounds as there's a flag on the far side of the field here with 1:15
on the
remaining.
Dragons, I think, and I think it's going to be a personal foul.
Yeah.
At least that's what the Northern fans and players are cheering about. They seem to have something that excited them. I think that came after the return.
Steve Lockway
But Lockway's
thinks one the other way.
Okay.
Personal foul, number 3.
Well, Lockway,
The kicking
no, he
team.
doesn't win
They
that
hit out of
fight.
bounds.
And, yeah,
15-yard penalty.
it is against the
First down.
Dragons. And that's clearly what the sign we were getting from their bench area. But Lockway saw it the other way. He's not happy with that call. I was just saying there isn't a great deal of time left, 1:15. But again, they've got to win. If that, whatever that may mean, they may have an opportunity. And maybe at worst you can get a field goal situation out of this. Right now, of course, that really helps the ball advances to near the 50-yard line.
Northern State, once again, has all 3 of their timeouts. McIlvain sacked. Jake Bussey got him this time. It's been the Bussey and Darlene show all season long. They have all 3 sacks today. They combined for 13 and a half this season as Steve Lockway, as you can see on the Valley Imports coaches cam, still shaking his head after that personal foul call. It's 2nd and long. There's Bussey again. McIlvain gets rid of him. They're going to count Bussey with the sack as they're going to say McIlvain was tackled all the way back at the 35-yard line.
The first one, last one, was really a coverage sack. There was nobody open. He had plenty of time. He just couldn't find him, but he eventually got tackled. This one, a true sack. This time, he didn't have time to heat up at all. A lot of pressure this time on by the Dragon front 4.
And here's Bussey going back to back. And now Northern State is going to take a timeout. So we'll step away. 39 seconds left in the first half. The Dragons lead this back and forth affair.
Get everything Dragons in the palm of your hand with the MSUM Dragons mobile app. Available now for all your mobile devices. Get the MSUM Dragons mobile app today or check out msumdragons.com/mobile app for more information.
This broadcast is copyright Minnesota State University Moorhead and presented by Dragon Athletics. All rights reserved.
For live stats, live video, and live audio coverage of your favorite Dragon teams, get the Dragons app. Search MSUM in your app store for all the news, schedules, rosters, live coverage, and more. Visit MSUMDragons.com/mobile app to download now. The Dragons app is powered by the Courtyard by Marriott. It's 3rd and 25 for Northern State. McIlvain pressured. He'll go down again. Is that Bussey again? If it is, it's the hat trick. Or is it the other senior, Aaron Bowl, getting the sack for the Dragons? All the seniors contributing today.
Yeah, there's a bunch of folks involved in this. I don't know who technically you give it to, but Aaron Bowl will get the sack. But he had, as expected, a lot of help from his pals. So this, what appeared to be drive, goes nowhere. The Wolves glad to get this thing over with. In fact, we think the clock will run out. The ball is at the 26, and the Dragons will leave with a lead here at the halftime, 20-14.
That's exactly what happens. An entertaining ball game to finish off this 2016 season. The Dragons lead Northern State 20-14. We'll take a break, come back on the other side of the MSU Moorhead halftime news break. Then Scotty and I will return with first half highlights, stats, analysis, and a peek around the NSIC. You're watching live coverage of MSU Moorhead Dragons football on WDAY's Extra.
Libby here with another lesson.
Mandy, when is the last time you had an oil change?
Huh?
Mandy, when's the last time you filled up? Mandy!
I'm not some kind of mechanic.
Hey, maybe you should ride Matt Bus. They take care of everything.
Seriously, you need to do that.
You really should. Thank you.
No problem. Let's ditch this junker and hop on that bus.
We learned our lesson.
Join us and take the challenge to ride green.
Prosperity is today's investment in tomorrow's promise. The promise of a better way of life. With every act of kindness, every act of creation, and with every act of love, we strengthen our community. And when we stand together as a community, we accomplish the impossible. We can choose to pass through life, or we can choose to pass on a better way of life.
In the more than 60 years that WDAY has been broadcasting, we've been there with you, sharing your experiences, your community, and your home. Now, with WDAY's Extra, we're going beyond to bring you additional news, weather, sports, and other local events, live and in high definition. WDAY's Extra is a channel that's giving you more coverage while providing the same superior quality that you expect. Check your local listings or contact your cable provider for WDAY's Extra, bringing you more.
Mr. Goldman loved his family a lot, didn't he, Dad?
He sure did.
That's why he had State Farm life insurance, like you. So his family never has to worry, right?
Mr. Goldman didn't have life insurance.
Why not?
He was just a goldfish.
Ignore him.
Call State Farm agent David Eggers in Moorhead today so your family won't have to worry about whether you have life insurance.
We put the life back in life insurance.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the MSUM Halftime News Break. I'm your host, John Webby Webking. Two Dragons from the small high school of Clinton-Graceville Beardsley are setting an All-American pace this season. Three-time All-American Molly Montoni is returning from an injury year, and football's big receiver Damon Gibson has 12 touchdowns in 9 games and is averaging over 130 yards per game. Let's hear the story of these two Wolverines turned Dragon standouts.
Well, I'm from Graceville, Minnesota, and my graduating senior class was 31 people. So pretty small.
Big class?
It actually was kind of a big class. Most people only had like 20-some people in their class.
My experience at CGB was awesome. Everyone was just always so close to everyone. It just kind of seemed like it was just one big town. You get texts all the time and Facebook messages and people just kind of, want you to do good because I don't think they've really seen or had anyone do that, really, in a sense.
Well, the funny thing is like in high school, they had our newspaper cover sports and whatever, and I was always in that, and they actually still put me in the newspaper. They like copy and paste the articles from our website and they'll put it in the newspaper. And I'm not sure if they do that for Damon, but I'm sure they do, just because our town is so proud of like what we continue to do in college, and it makes me feel pretty good.
I'm really good friends with her brother, like I said.
Well, he's my brother's best friend, so, I see him a lot, and I did in high school for sure, and he's just like one of the biggest goofballs I know. He's always been a really hard worker, and it definitely shows. Well, I actually haven't gotten to see him play, because every time he has a home game, my brother plays for Concordia, he has a home game. Oh. But I have heard about his amazing games, and like we keep track like on the website, like when we're over at Concordia, we'll be like on the MSUM website getting updates for how Damon's doing, and it's kind of amazing because my brother always jokes like, is someone guarding him or is he just that good?
I mean, 2 All-American kids from 2 really small towns. I mean, it just kind of shows the hard work and dedication it takes from being kind of nothing, 9-man football player, and I don't know how they, did track and stuff back there, but it wasn't very high, but just working your way up the ranks to doing something just so kind of unheard of in a way. I mean, you hear it once in a while, but especially 2 kids from the same area, I don't know, it's obviously, cool,
We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll recap the first esports event at MSUM. That's next.
Another day. And just like every day, it never seems to slow down. But you have a plan. Grab a cup, grab the paper, and grab a little time. Just for you. It's worth it. Don't get the paper? Just grab the phone. Call now and save up to 60% off the newsstand price. Journalists, bringing the story home every day.
It's a new stay at the Courtyard by Marriott, located just minutes from downtown Fargo, local colleges, shopping centers, and several restaurants. The Courtyard features a 24-hour fitness center, 24-hour on-site Starbucks, and our bistro restaurant and lounge open for breakfast and dinner daily. Relax in one of our 2 indoor swimming pools and hot tub. The comfort your family needs close to all the action at the Courtyard by Marriott. Visit our website or call 218-284-1000. That's 218-284-1000.
For expanded regional news, watch something extra. For extended weather coverage, watch something extra. The news at 9, weeknights on WDAY's Extra. Extra news, extra weather, extra features that fit your schedule. Unique stories, fresh perspective, extra fast. Extra, the first word for 9 o'clock news. There's always something extra. Weeknights on WDAY's Extra News at 9.
Welcome back to the MSUM Halftime News Break. One special event worth showcasing was our first ever FM Gravity Games, which was the kickoff to Homecoming 2016. A partnership between Gravity Gaming, MSUM, Games on the Plains, and Pepsi combined to host a video game tournament unlike anything our area has seen. The MSUM Homecoming Committee was searching for new ideas for events that would engage students differently than in years past. The result was spurred by the growth and popularity of esports and the obvious connection to college students, resulting in the first FM Gravity Games. 2 student organizations existed on campus that helped select the games Super Smash Bros. Melee and League of Legends. The event was open to the public to connect students with fellow gamers in the area. Also, Moorhead-based Gravity Gaming then jumped on board as the premier sponsor of the event to help coordinate the League of Legends tournament on their brand new custom gaming machines. Games on the Plains also joined in to provide tournament organization, and Pepsi donated some new gamer-specific Mountain Dew to the crowd. MSUM's role was host and broadcaster, sending the coverage live to their Twitch online streaming portal. The facility featured digital tables with team names, a video board for audience viewing, and play-by-play and color commentary in both in-house and streaming audiences. A highlight of the event was MSUM student and professional StarCraft 2 player Brandon Quall, also known as Puck, doing a shoutcast and interview while playing. The nationally ranked number 2 player was fresh off his recent mini world tour.
Just like everyone else normally would.
What is the one thing that you'd say that separates a championship level player from your average sit at home, play for fun kind of person?
Like a lot of things in life, it's like you gotta know the basics, right? Like you have to know how to practice, and if you don't know how to practice, you can't master like anything. Don't be demotivated from your losses so much. If you really want to become good at something, you have to be willing to accept defeat in it as well.
The event admittedly was a lot of fun. I even got to try my hand at a little Super Smash. Totally crushed it, although my opponent was only 9 years old. Overall, the event was a success in our eyes, but a lot of room to grow. The FM Gravity Games in Nemzik next time. That's it for the MSUM Halftime News Break. Back to Shields Field and more Dragons football right after this.
Buffalo Wild Wings Team Up for Kids program is proud to support the Boys and Girls Clubs of America. Join us at buffalowildwings.com/giving.
We only have one life to live, so give it all you've got to give. Don't let anything or anyone stand in your way. And do it for the love, do it for the joy, do it for your girls, do it for your boys, do it for the rush, do it for the team, do it for yourself, claim your destiny.
For gear and expertise, start at Shields and then get out there to do more of what you love.
Exceeding expectations. Getting better every day. It doesn't happen by chance. Preparation pays off. So the only question to ask yourself is, am I better today than I was yesterday? Exceed yesterday. Choose Sanford Orthopedics and Sports Medicine.
TV here,
TV there. Yes, it's TV everywhere. In the car. In a tree. Midco makes it easy, see? Mid-Continent's TV everywhere. Take some of your favorite programming, well, everywhere on your mobile devices. TV everywhere on the moon? Not just yet, but maybe soon. Mid-Continent's TV everywhere. Free with your cable subscription. Click happiestdevices.com.
What a scene here in Moorhead. What a day. What a ball game. 20-14, the Dragons lead Northern State. The winner of today's game finishes the season with a 7-4 record. We're 30 minutes in, and this is how it happened. In half number one, we've seen this so many times. We'll treat you and do it again. Demetrius Carr to Damon Gibson. Touchdown of the 57-yard variety. 9 minutes left first quarter. The Dragons led it 6-0, but then big strike, Northern State comes right back. Christian McElvain to Zachary Barber, 67 yards with the extra point. Northern State would take the lead, and then Damon Carr, you know what? I found my friend Damon Gibson. He's open right here, but I'm going to go to the senior. Corey Ambrose gets into the end zone for the 9th time this season. The Dragons back on top 13-7, but then Northern State comes right back. Shaka Kelly lunges for the pylon, finds it. 14-13, Northern State back on top, but then Zach Sweep over the top. The Dragons lead it 20-14. Here at the half, we didn't know what we were going to get today, and what we're getting is a lot of offense by the Dragons. They own the first half statistically, outgaining Northern State 328 to 125 yards. Look at the quarterback comparison. Demetrius Carr, 13 for 19, 228 yards and a couple of touchdowns. Christian McElvain, just 3 for 10 for the 125 yards. Half of them on that touchdown reception by Zachary Barber. But the Dragons have the 2 turnovers so far today. The time of possession is pretty even. So statistically, the Dragons own this football game. On the scoreboard, they lead it 20-14. This is the final week of the season, so there are games with playoff implications around the NSIC, and we'll take a look at the NSIC scoreboard after this and remind you that you're watching live coverage of MSU Moorhead Dragons football on WDAY's Extra and MSUMDragons.com.
Exceeding expectations. Getting better every day. It doesn't happen by chance. Preparation pays off. So the only question to ask yourself is, am I better today than I was yesterday? Exceed yesterday. Choose Sanford Orthopedics and Sports Medicine.
You always do this. You had a couple of pops in you and got cocky. Who's up for a game of wing roulette, you said? Because you thought it'd be funny to watch one of your friends get stuck with the hot one. But your friends, they got teriyaki, then spicy garlic, and then Asian zing. And now you're looking at the last one and you're thinking, my God, what have I done?
It's a new stay at the Courtyard by Marriott, located just minutes from downtown Fargo, local colleges, shopping centers, and several restaurants. The Courtyard features a 24-hour fitness center, 24-hour on-site Starbucks, and our bistro restaurant and lounge open for breakfast and dinner daily. Relax in one of our 2 indoor swimming pools and hot tub. The comfort your family needs close to all the action at the Courtyard by Marriott. Visit our website or call 218-284-1000. That's 218-284-1000.
Dragon Swim School is proud to offer year-round swimming and diving lessons with the lowest student-to-instructor ratio around. Lessons are available for all levels, including parent-child sessions and preschool. Help your child learn to love the water in a safe and caring environment with us at Dragon Swim School. Visit MSUMDragons.com/swim for more information. That's MSUMDragons.com/swim.
20-14, the Dragons lead Northern State here at the half. Let's take a look around the NSIC. There are no implications for Bemidji State. Maybe a chance at the Mineral Water Bowl. It's where the top team in the NSIC that's not headed to the NCAA playoffs, they get to play in Excelsior Springs, Missouri, against a team with the same fate out of the Midwestern Intercollegiate Athletic Association. So maybe some postseason football for Bemidji State, but their NCAA dreams dashed last week with their 42-41 loss at home against Bemidji State. They're taking it out on Minnesota Crookston, who's going to go another 0 for. The Golden Eagles are going to finish 0-11 at the half by the lake. It's Bemidji State 35, Minnesota Crookston nothing. Halftime up in Minot. How about the University of Mary and Minot? We expected a good ball game there between two struggling teams. Mary with just one victory this year. It came over Minnesota Crookston. Minot State with 2 wins this year. They beat Minnesota Crookston back on October 22nd. They beat Wayne State all the way back in September. Mary and Minot 20-14 up at Herb Parker Stadium. And that bottom score, that's the biggie in the NSIC North. Minnesota Duluth came in ranked 5th in the region. A loss today, and maybe they're headed to Excelsior Springs, Missouri. Probably no postseason for Minnesota Duluth if they were to lose today. St. Cloud State 27, Minnesota Duluth 14. That's a halftime score, and that one is certainly an upset of gargantuous an upset in the making in St. Cloud. Let's head to the south. The University of Sioux Falls well on their way to running the table. They're going to go to 11-0. They're shutting out Wayne State 30-0. So what the University of Sioux Falls will do is wait for the NCAA Division II Playoff Selection Committee to find out, are they going to be a number 1 seed? Probably not. It's probably going to be Northwest Missouri State. So are they going to get a bye, or do the Cougars have to play next week? Maybe they would play Minnesota Duluth. Who knows? Sioux Falls this week winning 30-0, and they're going to go 11-0 this season. Minnesota State Mankato finishing out their season. They lead Upper Iowa by the score of 26-14. Winona State, they've had a good season. They're going to finish 8-3 as they're blasting Concordia St. Paul by the score of 38-0, and a good ball game in Marshall between two very good offensive teams, Scotty. Augustana leads Southwest Minnesota State 14-6 at the big ice cream scoop stadium, Schwann's Field down in Marshall.
Yeah, you know, it's been kind of easy to criticize Minnesota Crookston this year. Indeed, it's been a long, long season for them. But another major disappointment to me is Concordia of St. Paul. Their numbers are pretty disheartening too. Now, they had a coaching change and some other problems, but their program has kind of bottomed out there a little bit. And we got a score, the Cobbers leading the Johnnies 7-3 in the third quarter across the graveyard. That is a big game in Division III football as well. And as you mentioned, Steve, probably the surprise, St. Cloud State, a little bit up and down. We've seen them both ways, leading Duluth 27-14.
Yeah. That would probably, we mentioned this in the first half. I mean, I don't know very much since we've never really dealt with the Dragons in the postseason. The Dragons haven't made postseason football since the year before I started, 1994. So don't call me the kiss of death. But it's been that long. So, I mean, I don't know how these regional ranking committees really work.
Yeah, I've played the Redmond down in Oklahoma that year and got outgunned. One of the teams the Dragons played several times in playoffs, Central State of Arkansas, and I think they're playing a pretty big game today in the Bison division. I think that maybe Sam Houston State or somebody, they were talking about being a national power. Indeed, the Dragons have played them a couple times in the old days at Conway, Arkansas. Well, the playoffs are a ways away for the Dragons. Certainly some promise here, however, with a 20-14 lead at halftime.
Real quickly, I know you were downstairs among the people. You're a man among the people. What was the buzz downstairs?
Well, I think they're very encouraged by it. I think they have the kind of the sentiment we have, like, this is a whale of a football game, and it's a lot of fun. I think you mentioned that several times. Indeed, you mentioned it before this whole affair started. This is the kind of game really you look forward to, and of course, it's not as comfortable maybe as that easy win over Mary or Crookston, but much more satisfying. And who knows what can happen here in the second half. We've seen this game change a few times.
Shaw, big booming kick to the end zone, and wow, Michael Strand's going to run it out across the 10-15.
Whoa!
He's going to second guess that decision as he gets smoked at the 17-yard line.
That guy hadn't heard about Barnesville. The other guy, he didn't pay much, respect, did he? We talked about how the Barnesville getting into the playoffs, good for them. Strand, a very good player. Kind of rolled the dice that time, elected to run it out, got back to 17, and was greeted rather enthusiastically by the Wolves. But hung on to the ball, and the Dragons will start early on third quarter at their 17-yard line, leading 20-14.
You say enthusiastically, I say rudely. Bad snap. Carr throws Broughton. And up to about the 24-yard line. That was a 6-yard pickup. I don't know, I said this before, and I kidded around with the coaching staff. They kind of like the games where, I don't know, I like these games, especially to end the season. This is just, especially with, I mean, if these two teams were 3-7, maybe it wouldn't have the significance, but with the significance of a 7th win, that's why I think today's a little more special.
Well, it would be nice to go out with a victory, and then there's that added joy of beating somebody of real character, which Northern State is. We mentioned again they're 6-4 with a winning record, but 2 of those losses overtime affairs, right? Lost to Bemidji, lost to first game in a year to Augustana, so a couple tough losses. They're only a couple overtimes away from being an 8-2 football team.
Here's Broughton getting taken down by Matt Thorson, a little safety valve for 4 yards. A couple other storylines to keep your eyes on. Demetrius Carr approaching the 250, the record 420 for what that's worth. Damon Gibson just under the 200-yard mark already. His exiting senior buddy, Corey Ambrose, set the record 3 years ago in Duluth with 237. So Gibson approaching yet another record that's within reach. As that time Carr was looking for Ambrose, but the timing was off.
Well, this Dragon drive still alive, and part of it is that Carr's imitation of a guy like Reno Bertoya or one of the original twins. You notice there's been a couple bad snaps, right? But like an infielder, he's able to pounce on it, not only get it back, turn it into a pass. They did that earlier on to keep the drive alive, avoided the turnover. So quick reactions by the quarterback, and this will put the Dragons now, though, at a 3rd and 6 situation. But again, good responses by Carr.
It's a completion to Evan Moore, the speedster, looking for some running room. Gets a block from Damon Gibson, and Evan Moore, welcome to the ball game. They convert a huge 3rd and 6.
Yeah, split out wide left and then cuts back in behind another Dragon receiver and turns it into something special. 34-yard pickup on a 3rd and 6 situation. This drive very much alive. 1st and 10 Dragons at the Wolves' 30-yard line.
This drive's alive, and so is this crowd downstairs. I asked you to go down at halftime and make yourself among the people, and there's not a lot of sunshine or warm weather down there. It's not 90 degrees, but it's not snowing either, but these hardy fans have something to cheer about today.
Yeah, and I guess you got to factor in there was no school at the university yesterday, and that certainly has a little impact on the crowd, but a fine turnout for a big game, and wow, a near touchdown. They go deep to Gibson. That time it is Matt Thorson able to adjust at the last second to get a hand in there, and what momentarily looked like another one of those Carr to Gibson touchdown affairs. We'll put that on the back burner for now, but 2nd down and 10.
That close. Missed it by that much, but a great play by Thorson. It's 2nd and 10. Incomplete. That ball was tipped. It might have been Tyson Zemlicka. And this will bring up a 3rd and 10, just underway, 3rd quarter, 12 minutes, 53 seconds remaining. Good ball game here in the NSIC North to close out the season. The Dragons in their reds, Northern State in their gold and maroon. Carson sweep into the slot. Empty backfield on 3rd and 10. 3 wide to the left. Carr running to his left, now his right, and he ran into his own teammate. He ran right into Isaac Ripplinger, who delivered the biggest blow, and then Chad Stotterell finished him off for a 4-yard loss.
Much better job that time by the Wolves, and that kind of broke their heart early on, right? He got out of there on third down in long situations. The Wolves are, a little more aware of it at that time. They're able to pin him down. He broke the first wave, but that time Stotterell was there to put the final touches on that 4th and 14.
4th and 14. Again, the Dragons will go empty backfield. Sweep in motion to the left. Carr looking to his right. Now he's just going to heave it. And he's got Gibson. Why did Northern State leave Gibson alone? He gets 18 yards and a first down.
Well, credit a little bit Carr, right? His ability that time to buy a little extra time. He had some pretty good heat. Watch him retreat, spin around, face a Wolves bench, then reloads. By that time, whoever was on Gibson had lost him. Gibson free near the Wolves sideline. It is another first down. So the Dragons are getting their full complement of downs on this drive.
Carr. Gibson to the 5. Gibson over the 200-yard mark, closing in on a new record.
You remember this started deep in Dragon territory after a good kickoff and a relatively harmless kickoff return, right? And then the Dragons able to march with a variety of big third down plays all the way down to get within scoring range, all the way down now to the Wolves 4. This one would hurt Northern State. They were poised, ready to get the ball back and maybe grab the lead, and now the Dragons have a chance to stretch this to a couple touchdown lead.
Sweep. Turning. Short. He gets down to the 1.
Yeah, but oh so close right that time, and it took a batch of Wolves to finally turn them aside inside the 1-yard line. So it will say second down at 1. 11 minutes even remaining in the third period. The Dragons over the Wolves 20-14.
Tyler Fethrin from South High School in Fargo, number 95, in on the tackle. It's 2nd and goal from the 1. Carr gives it the sweep again for the second time today. Sweep goes towards the clouds, and when he comes down, he's in the end zone.
Yeah.
Touchdown, Dragons.
Yeah, Sweep soars into the end zone that time, doesn't he? Leapfrogs not only the Dragon line, but most of the Wolves as well. And the Dragons now, after piecing together a wonderful scoring drive, have expanded that lead 26-14. Dragons extra point to follow. 10:41 left as this game begins to tilt more to the Dragon side. The guys in red here in the third period.
For the first time today, it's a 2-score lead. 10:41 left, third quarter. The lead is 13 for the Dragons.
This is Dragons Live.
Liddy here with another lesson.
Okay, gotta make a list. Pay cable bill, research car insurance rates, get groceries. And my student loan payment is due next week.
You look stressed. If you're worried about money, try riding that bus.
There is a bus stop pretty close to my job. I could give it a try.
Awesome. More conditioner?
Thanks a lot.
He learned his lesson. Join us and take the challenge to ride green.
Well, Stephen, we mentioned that what a response by the Dragons. The Wolves kicked off. The Dragons had to begin that drive at the 17-yard line, but they do it very efficiently, march the length of the field, 83 yards in 12 plays. It took 4 minutes and 15 seconds, and it is Sweep's 1-yard flight for the touchdown, and then the extra point to follow. The Dragons 27-14, and as we learned this week, this is beginning to tilt a little bit to the red state area. The Dragons all dolled out in red with the lead and the momentum here in the third quarter.
Zachary Barber goes down, number 34, to about the 33-yard line, 27-14. Big prizes is what we're known for at MSUM, and this year's no different. Come to Dragons basketball this winter and play the Valley Imports Video Lottery. Sign up at the door, win the game, and pick your prize on the lottery board. You could win Dragon gear, big gift cards, or possibly one of 3 iPad Pros. Again, come to basketball this winter and play and win big with the Valley Imports Video Lottery. Here's a completion to Connor Doherty, the big tight end. Picks up 12 yards and a first down to the 45-yard line.
Yeah, this third period not unfolding quite like the Wolves envisioned. Remember, they got the win right now. That's a big factor. And, of course, they won't have it in the fourth quarter. But the Dragons went against the win for a long, sustained touchdown drive to make it 27-14.
Here's a completion on the far side. It's Zach Culbreth. He'll get introduced to Michael Strand, but then forge forward to the 45-yard line. That's another first down. So 2 quick strikes for Northern State.
Well, I think the Wolves know clearly they got to get something done here in the third period, rather sooner than later, because the wind a factor, and they know they'll go against that late in this game.
McIlvain put it right between the 8 and the 6 of Isaac Hodge, and he dropped it. McIlvain got some time, and that was perfect. 2nd and 10. Truitt in the backfield. It's McIlvain. He'll lower his head. Abe Rorick with the tackle. Rorick had 12 tackles last week along with Aaron Bull. Grant Ryer had 15. And then with 40 seconds left in the game, he was trying to sack Hine and unfortunately blew his knee out. So it's 3rd and 5. Low snap. Flag on the field. Boy, we have had a flag-filled season. Not today. That's the first flag we've had in a long, long time. Illegal procedure against Northern State.
Yeah, just 1 penalty against the Dragons all day for 11 yards, and prior to this, 3 for the Wolves for 37 yards. But this really isn't the way the Wolves, I think, saw this period unfolding, right? They knew with the win, I think they were confident that they could get a stop early, come down and tie this ball game. Now they're 2 scores down. And remember, this is an offense built more around the run, what makes it a little bit more problematic.
He was looking for Doherty across the middle, incomplete. After the Dragons fumbled, they got the unsportsmanlike conduct, did the Dragons, and that's been it.
Yeah.
Well, you said Northern State has to get something done this drive. It's 4th and 10. They know their punter's really good.
Yeah, you think they're serious about it. They're going to go for it at the 45. You're right, they're armed with probably the best kicker in the league. Nonetheless, they feel tempted and obligated to go for it on a 4th down.
McIlvain, back to pass. Has a man on the near side. It's Truitt. He's going to get away from Del Brune and dive for the first down. On second effort, Truitt gets 13.
And got the first down by getting away from the Dragons. You mentioned Del Brune with the tackle, but unable to really wrap him up. What is it, Malik that time?
Yeah.
They got to him, but not until he got just enough for the first down.
McIlvain fires far side. And it's Zachary Barber. He'll pick up 8. There looks like there's a little more urgency with Northern State. You're right. They know they have the wind, and they're down by a couple scores.
Yeah, it's got to be in the back of their mind somewhere that this is the time to make a move, to make a statement, because you don't want to go in the fourth quarter down by a couple scores when you're a running team going against a wind. Bad odds there.
McIlvain with a lot of time. Throws over the middle, incomplete. He was looking for Halchin, and a late flag comes down.
Well, if it is against the Dragons, the good fortune for the Wolves, they had a couple of receivers kind of close to each other, and that receiver, without a lot of wiggle room, there were probably more Dragons in the area than Wolves, but we've got a flag. Let's wait and see what it is. It's holding against the Dragons.
Yeah, if it's not pass interference, then they throw the holding flag. So congratulations to the University of Sioux Falls. They run the table. They defeat Wayne State by the final score of 30-7. So we want to welcome that new audience that was watching that game. We're at Shields Field at Alex Nemzik Stadium. Steve DeStacio, Larry Scott. We have 8 minutes and 38 seconds remaining here. Third quarter, the Dragons lead at 27-14, but now Northern State is threatening at the Dragon 15-yard line. They give it to Truan. He's got some running room. Truan's going to go into the end zone. Touchdown, Northern State.
Well, it didn't take the Wolves long to take advantage on that call. The penalty against the Dragons on the very next play, 15 yards away. Truan sprints into the end zone for a much-needed touchdown for Northern State. They pull within 7, 27-20, an extra point to follow.
Nicholas Truan with his 9th rushing touchdown this season draws Northern State to within 7. Shaw, who had a field goal blocked on the opening possession, and his PAT goes through. We'll take a break. 8:24 remaining, third quarter. Both teams on the board here in quarter number 3.
Herbert and Gerbert's wants to know, what's your favorite sandwich?
My personal favorite is the Flash. It's got all that meat and that Italian flavor that I can't get enough of.
You know, the first time I was at Herbert and Gerbert's, I couldn't decide if I wanted ham or turkey, so I got the Gerf. Got both.
I like the Pompeii because I like chicken salad, but it also has that sweet chili sauce.
Experience Flavor Nation for yourself with the classic, specialty, and signature menus at Herbert and Gerbert's with 4 convenient FM locations, 1 in Bismarck and 1 in Grand Forks. Or order online and have it delivered at herbertandgerberts.com.
Parents, sign your kids up at the new Scorch Squad Kids Club at msumdragons.com/Scorch Squad. For $20, your 12 and under gets a t-shirt, a lunch bag, and a free Herbert and Gerbert's kids meal every single time you check in at a Dragons game. Sign up now at msumdragons.com/Scorch Squad.
Yeah, 67-yard scoring drive, Truan on a 1-yard run, 2 minutes, 13 seconds, took 8 plays, and for those that thought the Wolves were going away, not so fast there, Jones. This thing is not over by any means. The Wolves come back with a much-needed touchdown, and it becomes a 6-point game.
Hunter Broughton is told by Zach Sweep, don't pull a Michael Strand and come out of the end zone, so the Dragons will start from their own 20-yard line. We would like to give you a Travelodge upcoming schedule. We do know that the Dragon men last night outside of Oklahoma City beat Harding 84-78. They play Southern Nazarene today. The women, who are just outside of Kansas City, have a single game this weekend to open up the season. They play Harding today. Those are both in-region. All 3 of those games are in-region games. 2 for Walthall, 1 for Carla Nelson. So both of those 2 head coaches not only looking for opening weekend wins, but also looking maybe towards the postseason and 4 months from now playing teams from the Great America Conference.
Yes, they'll have a ample opportunity, won't they, with those expanded schedules now in college basketball. Incidentally, volleyball still playing. The Dragons on the road for the last time this season. They'll finish up today.
Volleyball squad, like you mentioned, cross country competing. The Dragon wrestlers, the Bison Open. Busy weekend, busy time of year.
Yeah, cross country I think goes to Florida next week. I think the Dragon men and Molly Montoya representing the women qualified as an individual. So a successful season in the long run, of course, for the Dragon cross country team. But yeah, it is amazing to all of us now the overlaps between these seasons. They just before you get rid of or before the fall seasons expire, you're already into the winter seasons as well.
Broughton just got a first down. Zach Sweep is loose. Sweep down the far sideline, bopped out of bounds by Zeph, and another big gain and a first down for the Dragons.
Yeah, and another big hit, but it comes late after the ball carrier picked up the first down. So the Wolves unable to come up with that defensive stop that they need so desperately as the Dragons continue to move the ball effectively into the wind. This is where Northern desperately wants to get that stop force the Dragons to kick it. They can't get it.
Watch out, Sweep is loose. All the way down to around the 10-yard line. 23 more yards for Zach Sweep.
Yeah, they're saying, okay, well, if you get tired of our Gibson, we'll show you the Sweep fella here too, because Gibson, of course, has had a huge day for the Dragons with 12 catches already for 220 yards. But how about Zach Sweep coming into the 17 carries, 106 yards, 2 touchdowns. But we got an injury now.
Yeah, it's Sweep.
But he'll be all right. He's running off the field. Dragon training staff there quickly to get to Mr. Sweep. He might just be exhausted after all this, but he has certainly delivered a big payload today, filling in for the injured Stone.
You know why he hurt? I think he got his wrist hurt because he was protecting the ball, and that left his other arm exposed, and I think that's what Keith Wiedrich and his training staff are looking at now. Denver Colgrove into the ball game. First and goal from the Dragons from the 10-yard line. Carr, lofting, Ambrose. Too far. Ambrose has done some spectacular stuff in his career. That was asking a little too much.
Second down for the Dragons, 2nd and 10, 6:49 remaining in the third quarter. The Dragons leading the Wolves 27-21.
Broughton, touchdown. Guess who blocked for him? Damon Gibson.
Yeah, they spread it out to the left side. You can't cover everybody, can you? So conscience to Gibson. There's an open Broughton. You just mentioned Ambrose. It's like the three-headed monster, right? You got Gibson, Broughton, and Ambrose. There are others too, but those three in reality have been just a load for Dragon opponents all year, and the Dragons' ability to mix and match. This time they find the open Broughton touchdown. So the Dragons come right back after that Northern State score to put together a scoring drive of their own.
Chesvold will hit another one through. We'll step away midway through this third quarter. It's now 34-21.
For expanded regional news, watch something extra. For extended weather coverage, watch something extra. The news at 9, weeknights on WDAY's Extra. Extra news, extra weather, extra features that fit your schedule. Unique stories, fresh perspective, extra fast. Extra, the first word for 9 o'clock news. There's always something extra. Weeknights on WDAY's Extra News at 9.
He's Larry Scott. I'm Steve DeStatio. 6 plays, 75 yards. Forget about this gust of wind kind of stuff. The Dragons have gone 2 possessions and have scored 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, suddenly an explosive offensive game has broken out, hasn't it? And the Wolves kind of try to get back in the football game, but they don't have a defensive response for the Dragons. And the Dragons not only able to throw effectively to Gibson, that's no surprise, but the Dragons' ability to run the ball so effectively. And hey, they've cashed in on some big 3rd and 4th down plays, haven't they? Another long scoring drive by the Dragons, and the Wolves back again, down by a couple scores.
Erlinson from the 21 will go down as he runs out of real estate. Aaron Doan just nearly knocked Judd Steiner, our field judge, into next week, and Doan came over to him and said, I wasn't going after you.
Yeah, and if you're a Northern fan, this idea we'll match your touchdown with our touchdowns, that's not going to work. If you keep that up the rest of this game, they have to score clearly, but they'll have to find some kind of defensive answers as well, as the Dragons very effective now moving the ball.
1st and 10, McIlvain. Fires far side, complete, as he hits Zach Culbreth for a gain up to about the 34-yard line. Minnesota State Mankato was just finished off Upper Iowa 33-23. The Mavericks finish 8-3, so another new audience has joined us. If you're flipping around the NSIC dial, Steve DeStatio, Larry Scott, here in Moorhead, watching a good one to close up our season. The winner of this game gets to 7-4.
Yeah, Stephen, lots of time left in the third period, and the Dragons already with 486 yards of offense against just 187 for the Wolves. In fact, the Dragons have 22 first downs, and again, we got 6 minutes left in the third period.
And our eyes on Damon Gibson, who has 12 catches, 220 yards. He's already set a truckload of records this season on the receiving end. Touchdowns, receiving yards, and he's 17 away from Corey Ambrose's record for yards in a game. McIlvain throws. Doherty, the tight end, takes a big hit from Strand and gets enough for the first down into Dragon territory.
Well, you mentioned Gibson, 12 catches, 220 yards, a touchdown, but Zach Sweep, 18 carries for 133 yards and 2 scores. And oh, by the way, Demetrius Carr, 21 of 31, 330 yards, 3 touchdowns. And so, three-headed monster right there. And you pick, pick your poison if you're the Wolves. We can't stop any of these guys.
Dustin Long has the record for 34 touchdown passes in a season. Demetrius Carr is now at 29. Remember, he wasn't the starter for a couple of weeks. Truin is loose. Dredlow chasing him. Doan's going to knock him out of bounds. Bull's going to finish him off on the sideline. That's how good Demetrius Carr's been this year.
Yeah, he has certainly filled in admirably, hasn't he? And now, of course, he's a starter, and he was sharing a lot of that with Jake Hodge, who talked about. But this is not necessarily a guy that has started all year, and yet his numbers have been really outstanding. The Dragons miss Hodge, no doubt about that, but Carr, wow, something special.
Double reverse, call breath, loose, goes by Strand,
wow.
Runs into the end zone, touchdown. The Dragons are looking for a flag that they're not going to get, and boy, is this a good ball game.
Yeah, that's something where you dump out your playbook, don't you? I don't know if we run this, baby. Let's try it. There's no sense saving it, and well executed, too, wasn't it? We've seen some of those things misfire, but that reverse executed it perfectly. It kind of stunned the Dragons a little bit, and just like that, the Wolves cash in. So just when you think they're going away, not so fast.
No, they're too well coached by Tom Dosh. This is too good of a team. You see Steve Lockway. He knows he's in a battle here to finish up 2016. Shaw, kick is blocked. Remember, the Dragons got one blocked all the way back in the first quarter, so I bet you Joe Chesvold is breathing a sigh of relief as it's now a 7-point game.
Yeah, and remember last week. And we don't have to tell the Wolves. They've been in a couple overtime games, so I think they'll worry about that later. They can't do anything about it now. I think what they're thinking is that offense, and they're getting over looking at their defensive pals like, hey, can we get a little hand here, fellas? I mean, we're kind of getting it done, but we need to stop, and they haven't gotten it. That time, a 72-yard scoring drive by the Wolves in just 7 plays, 131. They got that done pretty quickly, didn't they? And
Zach Callbreath, on the double reverse.
Yeah, and so that was a pretty quick response, which they needed. Again, they've got the wind, 5:08, 5 minutes and 8 seconds left with the wind advantage to Northern State, but that hasn't really meant a lot so far because the Dragons have been able to put together a couple long drives into the wind.
486 yards for the Dragons, 259 for Northern State. The Dragons had over a 200-yard advantage at halftime, but those Dragons had those 2 ugly turnovers as well.
And that's today's modern math in the NSIC, isn't it? Over 700 yards of total offense already, and we've got well over a quarter to play. But that's today's world. Lots of offense in college football.
Strand, second time out of the end zone. Let's see how he does this time. All right, not bad so far. Gets blasted again, this time by Lincoln Gruber out of Germantown, Wisconsin. And from the 25-yard line, exactly 5 minutes remaining. Third quarter. We started this season under the lights. Boy, this game with daylight savings time gone might end up under the lights. We start at Winona State next year. Wasn't it just yesterday we were opening up this beautiful facility, this beautiful field against Winona State 62 weeks ago. Denver Colgrove gets the call. He'll get taken down by Trevor Heining, playing in his final game. 6'2", 220, a senior linebacker out of Atwood, Minnesota. Chad Stotterell also peeling himself off the bottom. He's had a wonderful career as a nose guard defensive lineman for these Northern State Wolves. It's 2nd and about 6 from the 29-yard line. Carr will look over for assistance. He'll give it again to Denver Colgrove, and he'll get across the 30 and pick up another 3.
Well, you get in one of these key situations once again. Can't necessarily say this is life-threatening, but again, it'll be a third down situation. And the Wolves desperately need a stop. They want the ball back with the win, and the Dragons haven't played that game with them so far, have they? But now, third down and about 2.
You're right. There's been 4 possessions and 4 touchdowns, 2 by H. As one of the Dragon linemen just breathed, and it's going to cost them. I think it was Andrew Erickson.
I think you're right, Stephen. I think it is Andrew
66.
Erickson, the Dragons' young sophomore lineman. They think he's the best. They're very high on this young man. Again, a lot of young players on that Dragon offense side. We thought about that at the beginning of the year. That was one of the worries, wasn't it? And then we've rarely talked about it. They matured so quickly and have worked so well together that it hasn't been a problem at all this year.
Carr looking for Broughton. Got him! They make it look so easy sometimes. 36 yards on 3rd and 8.
Yeah, and the Wolves just have no answer on third down. They're just torch play after play after play. That time, pretty good coverage.
Channing Barber.
Yeah, pretty good. Not good enough. And that's their big play guy, right?
It was Alex Gray. I'm sorry.
But nonetheless, not an answer there when they know the Dragons are coming, particularly in that situation. You're almost certain the Dragons are throwing the ball, and still they get away with it, another first down.
When Carr threw it, here's Carr again. Complete, sliding catch to Broughton. Another great throw by Carr. But on the previous one, Carr threw it when Broughton was not open. Now watch this bullet to a sliding perfect to Hunter Broughton.
Yeah, not only are the Wolves unable to keep the Dragons from first downs, they're unable to keep them out of the end zone. The Dragons, are on another scoring drive of their own here if they finish this off again. How frustrating must that be for Northern State, time after time?
Broughton again, behind a Damon Gibson block. Inside the 5. If Gibson isn't scoring touchdowns, he's moving opponents around for his buddies.
Well, this isn't a Minnesota Crookston kind of defense, are they? I don't think so, but the Dragons already well over 500 yards of offense against this Northern State defense, and we're only in the third period.
Northern State had the second best total defense in the league at 365 yards per game, and the Dragons are torching them. Carr, incomplete, looking for Hunter Broughton as he got pressured that time by Marcus Marcellus, a junior out of Atkinson, Nebraska. So it'll be second down. And the Dragons have done it on this drive without Damon Gibson catching it, just blocking.
Yeah, and almost effortless. They almost feel that they can turn any part of their game and throw it to any of the 3 receivers or run it effectively with sweep. And again, no response by the Wolves.
Sweep, swept, Thorson, Stotterow. We could mention Stotterow all day. This will be 3rd and goal from inside the 5 at about the 3.
Yeah, the Wolves might be thinking, hey, guys, you can have the win the fourth quarter. It hadn't done us any good. But, again, how resourceful have the Dragons been offensively in this period? Wow.
They have not been stopped. If Northern State has aspirations of winning this football game, they might want to come up with a stop here on this drive. 3rd and goal. Gibson again. Are you kidding me? It's almost unfair. Touchdown, MSU Moorhead.
Yeah, typical Dragon throw and catch to Gibson. Nobody can stop him there. And the Dragons back once again on another relentless scoring drive. And again, no answer for the Wolves. I remind Stephen, you think of that the late Casey Stengel, right, when they asked about the Mets, can anybody here play this game? And you kind of look at their defense, can anybody here stop somebody? And the Dragons just overwhelming Northern State here in the 3rd period.
The extra point is through, and I did a little research in Scotty, and this is what I came up with. This will be the first time in Dragons history that they've scored 40 points in 4 consecutive games.
Okay. I'm just, the Dragon offense has become one of the real terrors around this league lately, aren't they? I'm shocked because these are, Stephen, almost pinball-like numbers. 566 yards of offense for the Dragons already. How about Carr, 25 of 36, 402 and 4 touchdowns. This drive, 8 plays, 75 yards, 327 it took, a 3-yard touchdown pass to Gibson. Oh, by the way, he's got 13 catches, 223 yards, 2 touchdowns. 57 yards is as long as, get out your abacus or whatever we used to use when we were kids. In these numbers, this is getting out of sight. Now, the Wolves are not impotent in offense. They've got 259 yards of their own, but the telltale numbers here in this third period, the Dragons' ability to move the ball with such ease. Man, this Dragon offense, very, very dynamic today.
Barber with some running room. So far, 2 missed tackles and then 1 to finish them off of the violent variety by Miles Baggett. I said the record was 420 for yards passing. It's Jake Hodge. That same game where he threw 237 to Corey Ambrose, he threw 472 in that loss to Minnesota Duluth. So Demetrius Carr, in rare company, I believe this is the 3rd game in which the Dragon has gone over 400 passing yards.
And you can tell the Wolves, hey, you should see our starter. You like this Carr. You think he's something. You should see the guy who normally starts, who did start, Hodge. But Carr, wow, what a performance.
Truin, nothing. Malik Delbrun with the stop that time. I mean, you're right. These numbers just continue to climb. 566 yards. The Dragons have 300 more yards than Northern State.
Yeah, well-scripted drives, well-called plays, well executed certainly, and some dynamic plays by the Dragon playmakers. There's one on the defensive side.
It's Dragon football. Oh, no, now they're going to say incomplete.
Yeah.
On the far side of the field, I believe that's my buddy Dave Klunt, and he had to make a quick decision. Here's the replay. That's correct call.
Yeah.
That's correct call. He never had it, Zach Culbreth. That instant replay, a great one, by the way, courtesy of Mid-Continent Communications.
Yeah, Culbreth didn't catch it, but he'll remember it, won't he? That was a big-time stick there that quickly dislodged the ball. Now it's 3rd and 10, 45 seconds left.
Boy, Northern State needed a stop. They didn't get it. Now they need a conversion. They're facing a blitz. McIlvain throws. He's got a man open. It's Culbreth, and he dropped it again.
Wow, that time they had it set up, a great throw that time, a wide open receiver on the boundary, and he simply dropped it. And the Wolves don't like this, but it appears that they have no choice other than to kick it away. They think they're still in the game. In fact, they're only down a couple scores. They've just had an inability to get anything done defensively, so they'll bring in their kicking team, including Jake Wiedrich, on a 4th down and 10.
Yeah, he's been one of their biggest weapons today. Wiedrich. Fair catch being called for and made at the 17-yard line.
There's
44-yard punt, excuse me, Scott.
Yeah, I think there was one of those punts. I think you can kick it into the end zone. I think he could, but I think rather than that, they want to get it inside the 20. They don't want it brought out to the 20, so it works. It kind of reduces his numbers a little bit, but well done. And the Dragons simply with the fair catch, no mistakes there. That's what they want to do, so they will start over in good shape. 1st and 10 at the 18, 33 seconds left in a rather long third quarter dominated by the Dragon offense.
Sweep. Looked like he was getting strangled as he went down at the 30-yard line. He picks up 12. Watch this. In most states, this would get you 25 to life. Right? Yeah, that's not very nice. Brian Sumption out of Frederick, South Dakota, as the Dragons do not have to run another play this quarter, and with a 14-point lead, they're going to elect not to. 1 quarter left in 2016. Come on back. We'll see if the Dragons can hang on.
Another day. And just like every day, it never seems to slow down. But you have a plan. Grab a cup, grab the paper, and grab a little time. Just for you. It's worth it. Don't get the paper? Just grab the phone. Call now and save up to 60% off the newsstand price. Journalists, bringing the story home every day.
Well, Stephen, you like offense. How about this today? 838 yards of total offense so far, and we're not done. That's through 3 quarters, but the Dragons have the biggest chunk. Zach Sweep rushed for 146 yards, game high, a couple scores. Demetrius Carr, 25 of 36 in the air, 402 yards, 4 touchdowns. And the ever-present Damon Gibson, again, 13 catches, 223 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And by the way, Hunter Broughton and Ambrose, too, have 10 catches between them. The Wolves have gotten some stuff done on offense. Christian McElvain, the quarterback, 9 of 21, 148 yards and a touchdown. Nicholas Truen has rushed for 60 yards and a score, but the Dragons' ability to move the ball so effectively, 579 yards of offense, running and passing. Wow.
I think we're going to see a couple records, maybe on this drive. Carr, Gibson, he's looking for him. Threw it behind him. They know we're talking about him.
Yeah, they don't make many mistakes, do they? That one, even Gibson. Man, he might be mortal after all. He couldn't corral that. Who could, of course? That was behind him. They don't make many mistakes. Yeah. 17 yards per catch. Roll that in with 2 more touchdowns. And gosh, he's developed into a big-time player in this league, hasn't he? Man.
There's another catch for 12 yards. That gives him 14 catches for 235 yards. That's an average of 17.1. There is a penalty, so they're going to say before the play, they're going to say incomplete. He never completed it. He's averaging, just to put into perspective, Scotty, he's averaging 17.2 per catch today. That's under his season average of 17.3. It's amazing. 3rd and 10. Carr, Broughton, what a catch. And a first down. He needed 10. He got 10.
Yeah, they know exactly what they need, don't they? When you mentioned Gibson, too, what's interesting to me, he's no longer secret. Maybe early on in the year he caught some people off guard. They weren't aware of him and didn't have the respect for him. They better nowadays. I'm sure Northern State does, but even with that, even knowing that he's a likely target, even making some defensive adjustments, they still can't find an answer.
1st and 10 from the 41. Carr throwing long. This is 2 times. Please get up.
Yeah.
Please. 2 times on the same play where he's proved he's not Superman, and now he might be hurt.
But you almost think he'll catch everything, don't you? Even a ball like that was really kind of overthrown. He came so close. Full extension, I think that's what happened. I think he slammed down pretty hard to the turf. Now, what was interesting, he's rarely practiced lately because of hamstring issues and some other things. So he's been kind of, he is not pain-free and he's not injury-free. Trust me, he's getting all this done. Less than 100%, but look at that full extension right there. Wow. And almost. He makes even the incomplete passes look good.
You know what he's probably thinking right now? Why didn't I catch that? That's the competitiveness in him as well.
And I wonder what Northern was thinking. I think there was some thought that they might have gotten this guy, that he was kind of in their recruiting area, to be honest. But fortunately, he's a Dragon, not a Wolf.
3rd and 10, Carr in trouble. The closest Dragon was the kicker, Joe Chesvold, who's practicing, and Northern State might have just come up with a stop.
They might. I think the Dragons got a down left, though, don't they? Isn't a 3rd down coming up? It only takes one down.
Oh,
for
it's
the,
third.
Yeah.
It's third. You're right. And Damon Gibson's right back in the ball game. I was thinking that was third down.
Nothing to it. Mere child's play. They only need 10 yards for them.
Just almost seems too easy. Maybe they should play in Canada where you need 15. It's 3rd and 10. 14-11 left, fourth quarter. Dragons lead at 41-27. Whistle and a Northern State timeout. So we'll take a break. Dragons up by 14, facing a third down. Dragonfire memberships and season tickets are on sale at GoDragonFire.com. Support Dragon scholarships while getting the best price on tickets. Join today. Thank you for supporting Dragon Athletics as we welcome another new audience. Those of you who watched Winona State defeat Concordia St. Paul 38-0. We are at Alex Nemzik Stadium, Shields Field, where the Dragons lead Northern State 41-27. You got to love those folks that are flipping around the NSIC dial today.
Yeah, I wonder about what my old Dragon defensive pals think about the old days back in 81 and said, hey, we had 5 shutouts in a row. Well, fellas, those days are gone.
Long gone.
Man, oh man, think of the difference.
3rd and 10. Carr. Broughton. That's Hunter Broughton's 9th catch today.
Again, 3rd and 10. We've seen this all day. The Wolves certainly just, flummoxed. They have not, I don't know if they don't know what's coming, unable to stop it. But again, the Dragons know exactly what they need. Dial 11 yards here, 12 yards there. Another 3rd down bailout, 1st and 10 at the 48.
Again, this was the number 2 defense in the NSIC, Northern State. Sweep. There they're showing it. Josh Coyle. Boy, remember way back when he was getting the fake punt for a touchdown rush? This Northern State defense was number 2 at 365 yards per game, and today they've given up 600 to the Dragons.
Wow, 601 officially to this point for the Dragons. And again, we have 13 minutes left in the 3rd period, so we have that feeling. I don't think the Dragons are done on offense yet. As long as they got the ball, they remain a threat on virtually every play. Dragons leading 41-27 over Northern State.
Carr. Ambrose! Yes! Ambush! Touchdown, MSU Moorhead.
Even the bad times are good, right? The ball juggled momentarily, pops right back in, it keeps the concentration, then simply heads in the end zone, and the Dragons tack on 6 more and blow this lead up to 47-27 for Ambrose, his 3rd catch, but his 2nd touchdown.
I don't know if he would have ever forgotten it if he would have dropped that ball. He was that wide open.
I think he would have been forgiven, but it would have haunted him because that's not like him. Yeah. And again, Carr helped set that play up, finding a little extra time to start with.
Extra point is good. We take a break. Just under 13 minutes left to go. The Dragons are up big.
This is Dragons Live.
TV here, TV there. Yes, it's TV everywhere. In the car, in a tree. Midco makes it easy, see? Mid-Continent's TV everywhere. Take some of your favorite programming, everywhere on your mobile devices. TV everywhere on the moon? Not just yet, but maybe soon. Mid-Continent's TV everywhere. Free with your cable subscription. Click happiestdevices.com.
9 plays, 83 yards. The Dragon Deep, our offense, just unstoppable right now. Scotty, the 51-yard touchdown to Corey Ambrose. Demetrius Carr has just set the single game record with 475 passing yards. Damon Gibson is one catch away from the receptions and a season record. It's been a magical afternoon for this Dragon offense today. And the thing is, their defense right now is probably not even being thought of, even though the Dragon defense has held Northern State to just 259 yards.
Yeah, kind of quietly. They've played pretty well on defense, haven't they? They're not going to get much attention today, we understand, but it just shows you how different it is. Remind me of basketball, and I wasn't back there, where you had a jump ball after every possession like the old days. And today's game, this seems like a totally different kind of college football. I mean, the Dragons score literally every time they have the ball. And against what, as you mentioned, a ranked defensive team. This is not a bad football team. They've made them look bad on defense today, but they just explode him time after time.
McElvain thrown to the turf is Halchin. Aaron Doan on the tackle for the Dragons. You almost can't keep up. I mean, maybe one of the hardest jobs right now is your former job, and assistant athletic director Tom Berg, trying to keep up with all this literature, all these records that are falling every week.
Or scoreboard operator. That's not easy today, too.
He's got finger tendonitis issues from pressing the button.
Yeah, it is a different deal. Just an avalanche of offense this afternoon at Nemzik.
McElvain. Oh, good pass. Jerry Ray on the tackle. Boy, he's had a quiet day. Probably in a good way.
Yeah, again, Stephen.
Barber.
This is a Northern team that came in 6-4, right? They went to overtime with Augustana and Bemidji State, two quality football teams. They've beaten some good teams, too, and they've clearly played better than this. I think they are almost stunned at what's happened to them.
McElvain again has a man open. It's Doherty, his tight end. He'll pick up 17 yards and a first down. 11 minutes, 45 seconds left to go. It's 48-27.
And remember, a lot of that was done, well, virtually all of it against the wind, right? In the start of the second half. The Wolves had the wind, the Dragons had the offense.
Flags are down. Halchin with a terrific catch as he got popped by Jeremiah Ari. But there are flags all the way down on this end of the field. Here's Jim Hardy to tell us about it.
And everybody's retreating, and clearly this will be against the Wolves. We'll find out procedure.
Number 80 on the offense. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Eric Peterson, not the sports writer and not the Dragons' former assistant coach, who's now at the University of South Dakota, a backup tight end, moved early.
Yeah, the Dragons also had a linebacker, I think, with the same name that was one of those academic All-Americans. So popular name, but that time it's a different one. Penalty is against the Wolves, and so that just adds to their misery a little bit. Complicates things, 1st and 15.
Because Halchin made a catch and then paid the price by Ari, who crushed him. 1st and 15. Truin. Tackled by Darlene as he'll pick up a couple. Sun setting here in Moorhead, are beginning to set. And it's also setting on Northern State and this 2016 football season. It goes so fast. McElvain throws, completes. Doherty again, he's loose. He'll have a first down and more inside the Dragon 25-yard line. McElvain, Doherty again. He went up, and then Doan punished him at the 12-yard line, but another first down. An impressive little drive by Northern State.
Yeah, still a little spark for the Wolves offensively anyway, right? And getting a few things done here.
McElvain again, throwing towards the end zone, incomplete. Great coverage that time by Michael Strand. I think this is a pretty good football team, Northern State. I just think the guys in red are better.
Yeah, I mean, this is not a bad football team. Obviously, all the numbers and reports indicate that, but this is a little stunning how they have been picked apart by the Dragon on offense today, and the Dragons' defense, too, has done a pretty good job neutralizing a lot of their offensive strengths.
Look at that tackle by the senior, Darlene. Thumping Truin. It'll be 3rd and 6. I love, and we've had this the last couple of years, especially since the Dragons play Crookston, but the seniors, Ambrose, Darlene, incomplete. Jeremiah Ari there, another senior, albeit a one-year Dragon, in on the tackle.
Yeah, they list 12 senior starters today. There's some that are kind of iffy. A guy like Dan Grandy, there's a chance, could return others' status. But by and large, they list 12 senior starters. And yet, as much as they will be missed, there's every reason to believe the Dragons will be a better football team next year.
4th down. This is probably it for Northern State. McElvain to the end zone, intercepted. Aaron Doan, who's had himself an afternoon, comes up with it. His 3rd interception this season, and Northern State's latest drive is stopped.
Boy, excellent timing by Doan, wasn't he? Just at the last second, knifed in front of the receiver. You'll see that in a moment. Well played by Doan. Had his position. Look at that. Steps right in front of him. Interception for the Dragons. The ball comes out to the 20, so a nice stop by the Dragon defense. And again, even though the Dragon offense will get the attention and the headlines, as they should, the Dragon defense playing with a great deal of pride and a great deal of responsibility, come up with a stop right there.
So Demetrius Carr and the Dragon offense on the field again. Incomplete. Threw the ball behind Damon Gibson. Carr, 28 of 44, 475 yards and 5 touchdowns. He's already got the record for passing yards today in a game. He's, for the 2nd time this season, he's got 5 touchdown passes. The record is 6 on the last day of the 2003 season.
Yeah,
John Frickman has the record.
The only thing to stop him is a sore arm or fatigue about now, right?
Bad snap again by the senior Jack Bixler, and this is going to lead to a sack. Tanner Lopez, who's a very good, very underrated defensive end out of Chandler, Arizona, getting the sack.
Yeah, even at that, a bad snap, but Carr able to get there, right? He's done it several times today, and then sometimes, a lot of times, he's been able to pick it up and still make something happen. He didn't have the luxury of time that time, but he made sure that it wasn't a turnover.
It's 3rd and 18 with 9:25 left to go. They'll keep it on the ground to sweep. They'll get a couple yards, run some time, and take care of the football as well.
Yeah, but now they're thinking, what, a punt? What's this? What do you mean? What do we do now? If we don't keep playing on offense, we don't go down and score again? Oh, I think actually they're going to have to give the ball up. This is a strange thing. First punt, I think, in the 3rd quarter, right? They've been so dominant in the 2nd half, rather, and Meehl back to punt it away for the Dragons. With the win, he'll like that.
Here come the Wolves. Meehl. It's off a nice kick. 45-yard punt. Joe Parsley.
Wow.
Thrown down. We'll say it again. A senior, Zach Drevlow.
Yeah, duck hunting season. There's a covey of them down there, right there. There were 6 Dragons under coverage that time. There was absolutely no hope for that thing to go anywhere.
I'm giving him too much speed credit. It was the redshirt freshman Connor Hant. 84, not 94. Pardon me. Can you tell I'm excited for this senior class?
The pride of Stewartville. So the Wolves will take over 1st and 10. At their 39, down by a bunch, 48-27.
Truin, nothing. Might have gotten a yard. That time, Zach Drevlow made the tackle.
Drevlow
got confirmed.
Yeah, one of the seniors. I think the Dragons have 4 seniors on the defensive front, right, with Darlene and Drevlow, Ecklet, and Antelak, right? Antelak, of course, came originally as an offensive player, moved to the defensive side, doing a fine job.
McElvain Senior Aaron Bowl makes the tackle. Boy, are the Dragons going to miss him.
Yeah, Aaron Bowl. Incidentally, next week, Bowl and Rorick, buddies, linebackers together, they're heading west to see Bowl's dad's team, Craig Bowl's Wyoming Cowboys, play San Diego State. They'll be in Laramie next Saturday. The Dragons are done. They'll have fun out there.
3rd and 6. Incomplete as McIlvain paid a price.
Oh.
He got hit by Drew Lingle. It's 4th down.
Yeah, we talked about the other seniors. Lingle is not a senior, but he's saying, hey, don't forget about me, guys. And he'll be back, and he'll probably be one of the real key players on that rebuilt Dragon defensive front a year from now. But a good response that time, 4th and 6, and the Wolves in no mood to kick it away.
Bowl got him too. It's 4th down. The Dragons are showing blitz. Here they come. There's a completion. It's Doherty, and he's loose. In a foot race with Michael Strand. Doherty's not the fleetest of foot. Strand uses the cutoff angle, but Northern State still alive as they convert 4th down.
Yeah, the Dragons bringing a little extra heat that time. Might have paid for it. Nice throw and catch. Just slips away from the tackle. Ultimately, Strand knocks him off his pins, but it's down there. 1st and 10 at the Dragon 11.
McIlvain to the end zone.
Wow.
Touchdown. It wasn't to the end zone, but Doherty knew where he had to go.
He didn't, and he got hit a couple times. It took a pretty good wallop at the goal line and was able to fight through a score for the Wolves, and the Northern State back within 15, 48-33, 7:17 left. So a ray of hope still for the visiting Wolves.
Shaw
missed it.
Shanked his extra point. We'll take a break. 7:17 left to go. The Dragons' lead is 15.
This is Dragons Live.
Exceeding expectations. Getting better every day. It doesn't happen by chance. Preparation pays off. So the only question to ask yourself is, am I better today than I was yesterday? Exceed yesterday. Choose Sanford Orthopedics and Sports Medicine.
The Wolves' touchdown drive that time, Steven, 61 yards, 5 plays, a minute 13 is all it took. McIlvain to Doherty, 11-yard touchdown pass, and the Wolves on the board again. And we are up over the 1,000 mark on total offense. Can I hear 1,100? Can I hear 1,200?
Sold.
1,031 yards of total offense, and we ain't done yet. Minnesota State Moorhead 48, Northern State 33. One crazy, wacky NSIC affair today.
There's a wacky ball game going on down by the river as well in St. Cloud. Remember St. Cloud State? It was upset alert all around the NSIC. Well, forget about that. Minnesota Duluth has come storming back and now have a 48-34 lead over St. Cloud State. 8:10 left in the ball game. Maybe Minnesota Duluth is going to make the playoffs after all, as this onside kick, if you will, attempt or pooch. Jake Richter grabs it, and the Dragons will have, I don't think they care where their field position starts.
No, Jake Richter, the pride of Detroit Lakes, one of the many freshmen on this team. Alert there to pounce on that onside kick attempt, and the Dragons will start yet another drive from the 43-yard line. 7:17 left, fourth quarter. The NSIC final affair for 2016, and so far the Dragons with the comfort of a 48-33 lead.
They keep it on the ground. Colgrove goes nowhere. I think Northern State's thinking, hey, wait a second, let's get a stop here. We just 3 and outed those Dragons. Let's get a stop here, and we're only down by 2 scores.
Yeah, but stops have been pretty precious commodities for the Wolves to find. You're right, Steve, but they certainly have every right to feel that they have that opportunity, and if they can come up with a stop, again, things happen pretty quickly in today's college football game. We've seen that, but the Dragons leading by 15.
Yeah, I don't think you can count them out just yet. Carr, give, sweep. He's gone airborne a lot today, but 2 other occasions he's found the end zone. So this will set up 3rd down. And 6 for Northern State, or for the Dragons. But again, if Northern State comes up with a stop here, they're going to get the football back.
Yeah, and they really feel they still have some offensive juice left, don't they? They were able to come back pretty quickly with a scoring drive of their own. But obviously it's imperative that they stop the Dragons on this 3rd down and 7.
Some fingernails might come off if the Dragons don't get 6 yards here. It's 3rd and 6. Carr throws. Gibson finally gets stopped, and Damon Gibson just tied Jabari Taylor's record of 90 receptions back in 2007. Maybe more importantly, just got another 1st down.
Yeah, and I'm kind of surprised how wide open he was as the go-to player on a big situation like this. It's no surprise the Dragons would go to him, but the Wolves not getting enough help there. And for Gibson, 14 catches? Amazing afternoon for the young man. 5:28 left, 14 for 237 yards. Wow.
Here's Sweep. So he just tied 2 records all in one. It's 2 for one day. He tied Jabari Taylor's season record of 90 receptions. He tied Corey Ambrose's single game record of 237 yards. The difference is the 2007 squad went 4-7. Corey Ambrose, when he caught for 237, as you see Steve Lockway on the sideline, our coaches cam presented by Valley Imports, lost that football game in Duluth.
Yeah, some long ago Dragons might remember that record Ambrose broke belonged to a man named Bruce Bausman, and he did it against North Dakota State when the Dragons beat him way back in the 60s.
63. Broughton. There's a flag. It's going to be on Damon Gibson.
Well, I won't have this advantage, but you will, and we'll be seeing the Wolves again pretty quickly. Different sport, I take it, right? And the Dragons will have a couple of early affairs with Northern State in NSIC basketball, a little quicker than we're used to, coming up pretty soon as the NSC basketball season unfolds.
It's the one thing, and I love our commissioner, Aaron. It's and our schedulers. They're really good. But it's the one thing I don't like is because I think the NSIC North could come down to the Dragons and Northern State. It did on the women's side. It could on the men's side. Northern State's a little bit banged up, but the Dragons play 2 weeks from today in Aberdeen at the Barnett Center. And then they play 5 weeks from today, and then that's it for Northern State. They get them done with your travel partner, at least the Dragons and Wolves do, before the holidays.
Yeah, they keep expanding these schedules. It seems almost yearly, and you run into problems. All of a sudden you're playing on New Year's Eve, and sometimes that you'd rather not play. You're running out of time because you got to try and piece together so many conference games in these schedules. And that you would like to have a little more spacing between that. But nonetheless, those are big basketball matchups between a couple of really solid basketball rivals. But we got some football stuff left here yet, right, Stephen? 4:37 left. Fourth quarter, the Dragons by 15.
Yeah, in defense of the schedulers, remember the MIAC and the MIAA and the GAC both play a week later than the NSIC. The Dragons cram their games in so that they can play. Here's Hunter Broughton again, and he'll go down and stay in bounds. They get the season done and their tournament done a week before everybody else, so I think that's one of the reasons why, at least this year, we're playing on New Year's Eve, and I am going to wear a hat and bring a horn.
Yeah, and the league has more than doubled the number of league games from yesteryear. At one time, they had 12 league games and 16. Now they're 22, and it continues every year, and that's true, of course, on all levels. And we just continue to add on to these schedules, and the interest is there, no doubt about it. And it's certainly a lot of people anticipating that basketball stuff once football's over with.
Colgrove banging his way down to the 25-yard line or the 15-yard line. That'll be good enough for another first down. You saw that one score flash across. How would you like to be Minnesota Crookston? 7:08 left in their season, and they trail Bemidji State 70-13. Those are angry Beavers.
Yeah, and unfortunately nothing has changed at Crookston for a long time. In fact, they were more competitive, I think, 4 or 5 years ago than they are now. And you wonder how long they can tolerate that, how long that's even a viable or worthwhile adventure to get overwhelmed and beat up time after time after time. God, it'd be terribly disheartening.
Broughton again. Boy, he's moving in. Gibson has 14 catches. That was Broughton's 13th.
Yeah, the Dragons closing in on 700 yards offense against this beleaguered Wolves defensive unit today.
It's 2nd and 8, and the Dragons are in no hurry with 2:54 left to play. I think Northern State knows their fate.
Yeah, the Dragons would just as soon drain all this time out. They don't need to score again. That's really not their intent right now.
Carr, watch out from behind. He'll go down as he'll get sacked, and Northern State will take a timeout. So we'll take it with them. 2:34 left to go. The Dragons hoping to be on their way to win number 7.
You always do this. You had a couple of pops in you and got cocky. Who's up for a game of wing roulette, you said? Because you thought it'd be funny to watch one of your friends get stuck with the hot one. But your friends, they got teriyaki, then spicy garlic, and then Asian zing. And now you're looking at the last one and you're thinking, my God, what have I done?
It's a new stay at the Courtyard by Marriott, located just minutes from downtown Fargo, local colleges, shopping centers, and several restaurants. The Courtyard features a 24-hour fitness center, 24-hour on-site Starbucks, and our bistro restaurant and lounge open for breakfast and dinner daily. Relax in one of our 2 indoor swimming pools and hot tub. The comfort your family needs close to all the action at the Courtyard by Marriott. Visit our website or call 218-284-1000. That's 218-284-1000.
48-33, Steve DeStacio, Larry Scott. The final 2:37 of 2016. It's 3rd and 18 for the Dragons, who lead this affair 48-33. Empty backfield for Demetrius Carr. Ambrose behind him. 4th down.
A rare misfire. You don't see that very often with this offense, do you, Stephen?
So it's 4th down for the Dragons, and everyone's looking over at Steve Lockway, and he's going to go for it. Demetrius Carr is over the 500-yard mark passing today. Records falling here at Shields Field. 4th and 18 for the Dragons. Sweep in motion. Demetrius throws it away as he was being pressured that time by Dalton Wangerin, a senior out of Mitchell, South Dakota. And finally, Northern State does get the football back.
Yeah, a little bit of a celebration, kind of a hollow one at that, but they leave kind of celebrating, patting each other in the back at last. The Wolves coming up with a defensive stop a little late as the Dragons continued to lead 48-33, 2:30 left in Northern State offense. Hits the field and the Wolves will take over at their 23.
So Northern State has the hustle. 2:30 left to play. Remember, right after the game, John Webking will be down on the field live with head coach Steve Lockway. McIlvain throws, complete, and refusing to go down for Northern State is Zach Culbreth. He's had some drops today for the Wolves.
Yeah, and the Wolves are thinking, I know it's desperate times with 2:21 left, but if they can score and score quickly on this drive, add the extra point, and they're a score away from getting back in the game.
McIlvain running for his life. He stayed in bounds. They'll stop the clock as he goes all the way down. That's the one thing, and I'll continue to say it, I wish they would change that one rule in college football and keep that clock running. There's no reason to stop the clock and stop it every 2 minutes.
They like these 5-hour games, don't they? You're not going anywhere.
I'm not going anywhere. McIlvain. Incomplete. He overshot Taylor Halchin. And Wolves are getting up slow, including the quarterback, McIlvain. And so is Tyler Roble, the 6'5", 300-pound senior left tackle out of Watertown, South Dakota.
Yeah, McIlvain had a pretty good workout so far, 17 of 34, 291 yards and 2 touchdowns. Not bad numbers. That's chump change compared to Carr's 507 yards through the air.
McIlvain again.
Oh.
Hit by Darlene. Loose football. It's recovered by Northern State's left guard, Nick Murphy, but again, it's the senior, Darlene. There he is.
Yeah, it's almost a strip and the fumble recovery. We didn't get the second part of that daily double, but he did get the sack. Ball popped loose. The Wolves pounce on it, but back at their 45-yard line, 3rd down and 19.
Ambrose has scored a couple today. Darlene has a couple sacks. He just got the forced fumble. And I want to ask you about these seniors, Scotty. What look at what they're. I'll ask you on the other side of this break. 1:43 left to go.
Dragon Swim School is proud to offer year-round swimming and diving lessons with the lowest student-to-instructor ratio around. Lessons are available for all levels, including parent-child sessions and preschool. Help your child learn to love the water in a safe and caring environment with us at Dragon Swim School. Visit msumdragons.com/swim for more information. That's msumdragons.com/swim.
What is the reward going to be for these seniors, Scotty?
Well, certainly you like to exit in style, don't you, to go out with the win. You mentioned they've had it before with Crookston. Not as much satisfaction at knowing they've beaten a good team and beaten them pretty good today. And they also know that they've helped put in place a very solid foundation. Better program than when they came, and they know that. There were some dark days. It wasn't that long ago, right, when the Dragons were getting kicked around pretty good in college football. But those days hopefully are over, and the Dragons on the way not only to being competitive, but not far away from being one of the real heavyweights in this league.
Culbreth just dropped another one. For these 5-year seniors, they came in and they were 1-10. Their only win was against Crookston.
Yeah.
Everybody beats them. Then 2 4-7 seasons, 6-5, maybe 7-4.
Yeah, and you got to remember when they signed on, there wasn't a lot of stuff going on there. This wasn't a very promising place. So give them credit. They were willing to take that chance, and it's worked out fine.
McIlvain incomplete. Didn't have a chance, and the Dragons are going to get the football back. A couple knees, and they're going to get that 7th win reward.
Yeah, and of course this is something that they have looked forward to all year. It seems like yesterday when we were visiting with the coach in his office, right, and thinking about what might have been. He's not the kind of guy to prognosticate a lot, but we're talking about there would be some satisfaction in bettering last year's record, even knowing that the schedule was pretty dicey, and in fact it was. But the Dragons got deep in the season, and it will appear have been able to have swept Bemidji State on the road and Northern home. That is a pretty good daily double to get those two in your bag and end up 7-4.
Carr takes a knee.
That's one of the few times he's gone backwards, man.
Record for him, 507 passing yards. He was 32 of 50 today. Damon Gibson tied Jabari Taylor's singles season reception record with 90. He broke the touchdown record, broke the yards record by a mile, literally. 237 receiving yards today, so he'll go into the record books with outgoing senior Corey Ambrose. It's been a wonderful day here today.
Yeah, a lot of individual highlights as well, and they're not going to get too excited about that, knowing those guys, but they deserve the credit for that, and they have put up some magical numbers today. I see the old coach Ron Mason's leaving today, and you wonder what those old veteran coaches think about today's game. Well, I'm sure, like a lot of other people, he's very proud of what the Dragons have been able to do today. What an offensive force, my word. 673 yards of total offense and a 48-33 win.
One more snap, a quick break, and then we will come back with John Webking. After this, you're watching live coverage of MSU Moorhead Dragons football, presented by Dragons Live on WDAY's Extra.
Mr. Goldman loved his family a lot, didn't he, Dad?
He sure did.
That's why he had State Farm life insurance, like you. So his family never has to worry, right?
Mr. Goldman didn't have life insurance.
Why not?
He was just a goldfish.
Ignore him.
Call State Farm agent David Eggers in Moorhead today so your family won't have to worry about whether you have life insurance.
We put the life back in life insurance.
Steve Lockway.
Thanks, Steve. Joined here by head coach Steve Lockway. Coach, first 7-win season since 1999. What does the win here today mean for the Dragon football program?
Well, it's a big step. I mean, it's we talked about in our program, it's a tipping point to starting some things that we think haven't been done in a long time, and it gives us some momentum to really take this program to places we haven't seen for a while, and I think that's exciting. It's encouraging. It's great to win at home 10-3 in the last 13 games here. This is really becoming a great atmosphere, and it's becoming a competitive advantage. So we got a lot of things working for us, and we're really excited.
And there's a lot of members of this team that have grinded for a lot of years to make this happen. Talk about the seniors here on their last game.
Well, I couldn't be more happy for them. I mean, they came when this program wasn't very good. They came with a vision. They came with a hope to turn it into what it is right now. And I think they've placed this program in position to do some phenomenal things. And that took a lot of effort. That took a lot of hard times. They took their lumps. They kept fighting, and I can be more proud of these guys on the field and off.
And the game today, a lot of points up on the board. Defense held strong in some big moments. What happened to make this win happen?
Well, I think our guys have just committed to the process. I think we really struggled with that loss to St. Cloud. We felt like we let that get away from us. We felt like our backs were to the wall. We wanted to get ourselves to a 7-4 season to keep showing that our program is making progress. And we put our backs to the wall and rattled off 4 straight wins. Big maturing point for this program and for this team.
And go enjoy it. Thanks, Coach. Back to you guys.
All right, John, thank you very much, and congratulations to Steve Lockway and the entire Dragon squad. They're down at the 5-yard line, and they all want, look, Ryan Darlene, he cannot wait to get into team prayer time, and those guys to be together. They deserve this.
Yeah, certainly. A nice way to put the wraps on your collegiate football season for the 12 Dragon seniors and for everybody else. What a way to set the tone for 2017, a rather classic performance today by the Dragons, and especially impressive offensive display. Lots and lots of fireworks today at Nimzuk Field.
What are you going to remember not only about today, but about this 2016 season?
Well, I think considering particularly the schedule problems that they facing a difficult schedule, but to position yourself for something very special. This is still a maturing football program. This is still, in a way, a work in progress. Well, the progress report, pretty good right now. And I think what everybody, serious Dragon fans, are hoping is for that return to when they are truly a contender for the conference championship. They're getting close, and I think they made a big step this year. Even though I thought early on looking at that schedule, there was a reason to believe that they might have trouble matching last year's 6-5 mark, which wouldn't have been, a bad performance indeed, but to be able to match that and exceed it in light of that difficult schedule, I think speaks volumes. So once again, they continue to show this growth spurt, and I think there's real reason to believe that by next year, they are really closing in quickly on the league's elite teams.
Pretty special day here today. Pretty special season here. I bid you farewell, and one thing that we didn't mention today, it was Veterans Appreciation Day, and although you're very modest with everything that you do, that's the way you go about in life. I know that you served in the United States Army, and I, for one, want to thank you for your service and for all the veterans that keep this country so great.
Well, thank you, Stephen. I could never match the heavy lifting that a lot of our people have done, but that is a good point that we do certainly want to thank them. And a lot of them, of course, were honored yesterday. It was one reason we were a little bit concerned maybe about the crowd because there was no school at the university, but it was a good turnout. And those that were here were not only delighted, they were witness to something pretty special indeed.
All righty. It's been a special season for me. Thank you very much, and I'm sure I'll see you come basketball season.
Well, yes, we'll be there waiting for that, but there's something that going to be a little emptiness next Saturday, without a doubt. It's been a joy working with you and Ed and watching this team, and as I've told people forever that this is really an easy team to cheer for. These are good people, good coaches with great values, good young players, dedicated, and this is athletics like it should be, right? And I think anybody that follows this team has every reason to feel proud of these young men, what they've accomplished, how they act, and so let them celebrate and enjoy the they deserve. They've entertained us all year, and we're certainly thankful for them.
We will come back with highlights, stats, a look around the NSIC scoreboard, and some more from Shields Field. The Dragons are a winner here on the final day of 2016.
Get everything Dragons in the palm of your hand with the MSUM Dragons mobile app. Available now for all your mobile devices. Get the MSUM Dragons mobile app today or check out msumdragons.com/mobile app for more information.
This broadcast is copyright Minnesota State University Moorhead and presented by Dragon Athletics. All rights reserved.
Liddy here with another lesson.
Mandy, when is the last time you had an oil change?
Huh?
Mandy, when's the last time you filled up? Mandy!
I'm not some kind of mechanic.
Hey, maybe you should ride Matt Bus. They take care of everything.
Seriously, you need to do that.
You really should. Thank you.
No problem. Let's ditch this junker and hop on Matt Bus.
We learned our lesson.
Join us and take the challenge to ride green.
Steve DeStatio back with you from Shields Field at Alex Nemzik Stadium. 48-33, the Dragons get victory number 7. And let's get to a very busy second half highlight package. First, Zach Sweep with his second touchdown of the afternoon. That put the Dragons up 27-14. The first time they had separation, but Northern State's a good squad. They come right back. Nathan Truin into the end zone from 15 yards out, but then it was Demetrius Carr again, this time finding Hunter Broughton, who does the heavy lifting into the end zone. Touchdown, 34-21, but then Northern State comes right back again. A little double reverse action. Zach Colbreth, a 25-yard run. The PAT was blocked. It was 34-27, and then Carr to Damon Gibson. It's almost unfair. 41-24 at the end of 3, and then this one. Carr. Houdini. Carr. Ambrose. I got it into the end zone. No one's going to catch Corey. Touchdown, the senior, for the second time today. Christian McElvain throws the interception to Aaron Doan. This Dragon defense is not going to get a lot of publicity today. They played really well. Doherty right here with the final score of the season. Doesn't matter, the Dragons defeated Northern State today 48-33. This was the number 2 defense in all the NSIC. Northern State coming into today. They surrender 663 yards. Look at those numbers for Demetrius Carr. 32 of 50 for a school record 507 yards. The Dragons also did it on the ground today. Zach Sweep, 24 rushes, 154 yards, and a couple of touchdowns. Northern State's Christian McElvain, 17 of 36, 291 yards. On the ground, Nicholas Truin, 17 rushes for 68 yards. It is worth mentioning that athletic trainer Keith Weidrich's son Jacob had a 56-yard punting average. For what it's worth, for Northern State, the Dragons win in the statistical category. They win on the scoreboard 48-33. Let's take a look around the NSIC. It's over in Bemidji. The Beavers nudge Minnesota Crookston 76-13. Bemidji State, despite the loss last week, a terrific 8-3 season this year. Great ball game up US 83. Minot State nudges Mary literally 21-20. And Minnesota Duluth, congratulations to the Bulldogs. They were down big early. They come roaring back, beat St. Cloud State, should be in position for an NCAA playoff berth. They defeat St. Cloud State 48-34 and finish 10-1. The University of Sioux Falls finishes a perfect 11-0. They beat Wayne State at home today 30-7. They will wait to see who they play beginning in the playoffs next week. Minnesota State Mankato defeated Upper Iowa 33-23. Winona State, terrific season for Tom Sawyer and the Warriors. They finish 8-3 as they shut out Concordia St. Paul 38-0. And Augustana with a great year. They finish 8-3. They beat Southwest Minnesota State 35-20. We need an electrifying play of the game for the last time this season. 48 points. Demetrius Carr sets the record. Damon Gibson. But it might just be this. Carr escapes two Wolves, throws it to a wide open Corey Ambrose. He juggles it. He grabs it. He goes into the end zone. The senior. Touchdown number 2 today. Touchdown number 10 this season. It's also today's electrifying play of the game. Presented by Moorhead Public Service, who reminds you that microwave ovens use 50% less energy than conventional ovens. Heat food in the microwave instead of on the range top or in the oven whenever possible. For more energy-saving tips, log on to brightenergysolutions.com. Saving energy, saving money. This might be hard, picking a newsmaker of the game. Damon Gibson tied a couple more records, but this guy set a record. We'll give it to the guy who's going to engineer the Dragons offense next year. Junior Demetrius Carr gets our Forum newsmaker of the game. He was 32 of 50 for a school record 507 yards. He threw for 5 more touchdowns this year. Demetrius Carr finished with 31 touchdown passes this season and over 2,700 yards. He's today's Forum newsmaker of the game, presented by the Forum of Fargo Moorhead. Call 241-5445 today to get the Forum of Fargo Moorhead delivered tomorrow. That's going to do it for our presentation of Dragons football today and for this 2016 season. There are so many people to thank. Our athletic director, Doug Peters, Chad Markison, Tom Berg, who's been helping us out all season long with our statistics, John Webking, and we wish him and his wife and his new daughter, Nora, all the best of luck. Our director, Alex Nelson, our student-run staff has just been terrific to work with all season long. For Larry Scott, I'm Steve DeStatio, thanking you for watching our presentation of Dragons football. Once again, our final score, the Dragons 48, Northern State 33.
This has been a presentation of MSUM Dragon Athletics and has been made possible by our corporate partners: the Courtyard by Marriott, the Forum of Fargo Moorhead, Valley Imports, Matt Buss, WDAY's Extra, Richards Transportation, the MSUM Bookstore, Sanford Health, Gate City Bank, Midco, Valley Pre-Owned, Moorhead Public Service, State Farm Agent David Eggers, Travel Lodge and Suites, Promotional Solutions, Pepsi, Pizza Patrol, Subway, Shucks Bus Service, Shields, Usher's House, Spicy Pie, Microtel, Papa John's, Bite Speed, Herbert's and Gerbert's, Buffalo Wild Wings, Rustica, Travel Incorporated, and Minnesota State University Moorhead.